feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SacktownSports.com and the Sacktown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper.
No Kyle Draper today, but that was a planned absence. It's not as if he decided, I can't face Kings fans after last night. No, I believe he's spending some time with the family in Philadelphia. So it's Whitey and JJ will be here shortly. Kyle Ledbetter's keeping us on track here. I have to confess, I did not think, Kyle, that we'd be sitting here today talking about a Kings loss. Even last night, as that game seemed to be slipping away, I was watching with my wife, Sheena, and I kept telling her, yeah, this is bad. They're going to win, though. Fourth quarter, she was saying, I don't know. I said, no, this looks bad. They're gonna pull this one out. So I still am having a hard time processing that they lost to the Wizards.
So what was the moment when it hit you that, oh no, they are actually going to lose this game?
Well, you know when it was. It was when the hammer of Thor fell. Boom, right? It's like, oh no, my goodness. It's just frustrating to see one team, an inferior team, a vastly inferior team, shorthanded, vastly inferior team, play with so much energy against a superior team that just looks like they can't generate the energy necessary to compete. And we've seen teams quit. I know a lot of people are wondering about that. I don't know what you think. Let us know. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 if you wish to. You could fill in for Kyle Draper today. There's been a lot of talk. Oh, these guys they're mailing it in. They don't look to me like a team that doesn't want to win. They almost looked last night to me like a team that just can't wait to get this over with. It's not that they don't care. It's like the whole thing is so right now, as far as the basketball end of it, just seems so dysfunctional that it's almost like the team has the team-wide yips where you just want to. The yips are when you want to get something over with. You fear that it's going to be an unpleasant experience. It could be throwing a ball. It could be swinging a golf club or taking back the putter. You fear a negative result. And so because you fear it, you rush through it to try to get it over with. And it almost looks to me like that's where the Kings are because they're fearing those negative results. Last night, it looked like they realized, oh, my goodness, we're going to lose to the Wizards? The thing is, Jay, to me, if the Kings are not playing with intensity, what are we doing? I know Doug said, yeah, we didn't bring the necessary energy. For whatever reason, if you're playing for at least a home game in the play-in, which could lead to a playoff spot, if they're not playing with intensity at this point, Jay, what are we doing?
I don't know, Whitey. I don't know what if you're not playing in the Herm Edwards tone, if you're not playing to win the game, I don't know what you're playing for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say this, and I'm not going to get ready to come on this air for 4 hours and sit up here and act like that wasn't a terrible loss. That was an atrocious loss. That was, it's always the last loss that always like, that probably was the worst one of the season type situation.
Yeah.
That honestly could be considered the worst loss of the season.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. There's no excuse to put up. There is no reasoning. There is no, I'm not going to sit up here and say, well, the gelling and this and the team needs time. Like all of that's out the window.
Yeah.
We're coming down to the point where you have to, if nothing else, the intensity, the aggression, and the want to. If we're not even doing that, then we're not even starting the game yet. We're not even starting the race, so to say. And so, yeah, I just thought last night was atrocious, man. They didn't hit their second three-pointer until 6 minutes and 28 seconds left in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yet again, the defense was atrocious.
It is.
Yet again, and this is something that I've seen more and more, and we really haven't had this conversation about it. And this show. We've been short or truncated, as you like to say. We've been in Stockton. We've been at Tom's Watch Bar. There's so many things going on here at Sports 1140. That's a great thing. But I haven't brought this to the forefront, which is their perimeter defense and even Keon. Like these guys are getting blown by. AJ Johnson, who I actually like, that's my cousin. You know, I like AJ.
Sure.
I think he is talented.
I can tell you've worked with him.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know,
That's
family
my guy.
barbecues and things.
Absolutely. You know, we do a big oysters, ribs, St. Louis joints, you know, those type of things.
You a
but
big oysters guy?
love it on the grill. I'm not,
Okay.
don't give
All
it to
right.
me slimy,
That's
cold.
what I was wondering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. That's not fresh from the sea.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good on that.
Okay.
But as far as put on the grill, little bacon bits, special sauce, you know, some green onion, cheese, like, oh yeah.
Jay,
You can mess with it.
I was in a situation once where somebody took us out to dinner, and the guy that
Ooh.
took us out to dinner, he's like, "Hey, let's share some of these," and it was some of those, and they
That
were
slimy joint?
Yeah, and so you know, what am I going to do? Oh, I don't want to. No, I went ahead and
No,
some.
yeah.
I
but-
felt like it was a waste because I know these are kind of a delicacy. I didn't really enjoy them.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have just said, "Why don't you have them?"
Yes. Sometimes honesty, being upfront can go a long way. As they say, closed mouth don't get fed, right?
Yeah,
So especially if someone else enjoys them,
Yeah.
let them take care of that.
Uh-huh.
You know, go ahead and do your thing, sir
Mhm.
or ma'am.
But also I didn't want to appear weak in any way. I felt it was something
Just
of
because you
almost
don't
a
like it?
challenge.
Really?
You do want some of the oysters and some beer?
You was challenged at the
Yeah.
table?
Well, perhaps on some level.
That might be a personal thing, Mr. Gleason. That might be something you need to look in the mirror and figure out
Of
yourself.
course I do.
Competitiveness. You're too
Yeah.
competitive, right?
Double-fisted.
Beer
That's
and
that.
oyster.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the perimeter defense last night was atrocious. You know, there were just so many things to pick from. But this team, I think there's a difference. And this is something I want to propose today, Whitey. And please forgive me because I didn't pass this along to you.
Forgiven.
Yes. Wanting the season to be over, and I've tried to figure out how to say this properly, versus mailing it in, quitting. Like I think they might be mailing it in, but I'm not sure they've quit on the coaching staff. I think they've quit on the season.
I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, like
know that sounds
yeah.
a little like what?
Yeah, it sounds funny, but I'm not sure. And you hear the coaching staff come out, you hear Coach Christie come out and say, and even you hear some of the players like, we didn't come out with the intensity and we'll play the clips. Didn't come out with the aggression. We didn't come out with the know-how. Yeah, that to me is like you just kind of counting the calendars.
That's why to me, Jay, it seems like they're just trying to get it over with.
Yes, right.
And it's not like screw this.
Right.
You know, we're gonna sabotage the whole thing. No, it's just like, this isn't working. We just
Down the calendar, man.
Yeah. Yeah. They struck me last night as a team that nobody had any confidence in what they were doing.
True.
They had no confidence in what their teammates were doing. They had no confidence in what they as a team were trying to do. And it just seemed like a team that played like, man, this ain't working. And I think a lot of it, maybe more than anything else, Jay, is what you said. This is still a really poor defensive team.
Oh, it's horrific.
And it's
Yeah.
tough, especially on the
horrific.
road, to do anything consistently when you cannot get stops and you're getting just annihilated from the 3-point line.
Oh, they were getting, on the switches,
Yeah.
cutting under the screen.
The Wizards were getting whatever they wanted.
Absolutely.
Like, let's run pick and roll and get
Yeah.
Domas in the action.
But you know what? One of the things, and this is something that, the Kings fans in the Kings Kingdom won't be blindsided by. A lot of what their issue is athleticism. Their athleticism
Completely.
on the perimeter
Length and
defensive
athleticism,
man, they have
yes.
issues.
Yeah.
And it's been that way. And as good as Keegan Murray is a defender, the one issue that he truly has, for me, and I think he has a few more, but I think we can all agree, is athleticism. People who can blow right by Keegan. And he's a good what's the word I'm looking for? He recovers well, but a lot of times he's getting smoked. He's getting smoked on the perimeter. And a lot of that has to do, obviously, because he's being asked to do certain things and you don't have the rim protector, so to say. So it all goes together.
Yeah.
You hear the coaches talk about it. If you watch basketball, we know it all goes together. But this has consistently been something that we've been talking about over the last 2 or 3 years. And I've said it even in the Beam team season. I thought, De'Aaron is considered a good perimeter defense. I've always said, I think he's a good team guy. One-on-one, really not for me. I think the true guy that they have on the on the perimeter for me is Keon. But also when you're 1 of 10, 1 of 5 on the 4, but 1 of 10, 12, 15, however you want to say it on the, as far as the team wise, it doesn't really show that well.
This is the 3-and-D era in the NBA. The Kings don't have many 3-and-D guys. they have a lot of not very good at making the three and very little D guys. And it's hard to compete. You know, Keegan he shot the three ball. He's been shooting it well of late, and he defends. So you could say, 3 and D guy. Keon, you could say 3 and D guy. But the Kings are still, they just don't have depth at the wing position. And that's one reason that right now, Jake LaRavia's absence stands out. Part of it is because he's played well, but another part of it is they just don't have that many wings. And when you lose one of your legitimate wings, it stings. Tell you what we'll do. We're going to come back with, I asked Brendan to pop in. Is that all right with you, Jay?
You were rapping right there.
Yeah.
Nah, because I want Brendan to pop in because I don't want none of that covering stuff. You know, he's going to come in all positive.
I don't know.
I don't want Brendan
today,
all that positivity here today.
You didn't hear him earlier today,
No, I
did
don't
you?
pay attention to Brendan when he's talking. Nah,
Yeah, you may be talking to a different Brendan Nunez.
All
We'll
right,
make him right back.
I figured.
Guys, Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, UC Davis, and Sac State with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com to join.
The hot weather is coming. Is your HVAC system ready for it? Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating make sure it is. Get to Lee'sAirPlumbingandHeating.com. Check out their $99 HVAC tune-up special. And let me tell you why Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is the way to go. They took care of me when our heater collapsed over the winter, and Lee set us up with a great new HVAC system that is providing comfort, value, and quality. Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating take care of you. License number 635355.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, Folsom Lake Ford. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, like America's best-selling F-Series. Check out a huge selection of Mavericks, F-150s, and Super Duty trucks, or tech-filled SUVs like Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with zero down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest finance rates. And Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they are my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. For 35 years and counting, come down and take a test drive today. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Rocks Tech, Michelob Ultra, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. More info at CITPFest.com.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Wow, Jay, we got a very interesting request for you. Amadrock. This might be, maybe it's something we want to do if you have a song you want to dedicate to the Kings. Or maybe a song that you think sums up where we are right now. Amadrock in the chateau says, Jay, can you please play Slipping into Darkness? Oh, I haven't heard that in a long time. I was slipping into darkness. Right? That's War?
Yes, it is.
Yes. And then Mike Shamart. Come on, JJ. Slip into Darkness. So there's a couple people that would like you to play that at some point.
I got you.
Now, that's more of something you play on a Friday, though, isn't
it? Yeah, it is, but that's all right. Listen, one thing we do here on the Drive Guys is we take requests, man. I am the DJ.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm on the ones and twos, the wheels of steel, as they used to say, the Serato.
Jay, I'm very fond of the guy who's joining us here, and I appreciate his time. But what do you think the odds are that Brendan has ever heard of Slipping into Darkness?
0. I'm pretty sure he's heard the song.
That's probably accurate.
Yeah,
it's probably accurate.
He's probably heard the song.
Yeah.
Good luck the rest of the way.
I feel like the Kings and my experience covering them, I am currently slipping into the darkness.
Really?
But I cannot tell you the song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll play it for you too.
There we go.
Song.
There we go.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard, when I told Jay that I had invited you in, and he said, "Oh, I don't want to hear the positivity."
Yeah.
And I heard you today, and and bless you for your objectivity. You weren't overly optimistic about things today when you were on with Alan.
Yeah, it's they just lost to the Wizards, Whitey.
Right,
And
right.
so it's hard to be optimistic right now. And I think in general, to be honest, I more often than not try to see what I think that they or what their logic may be, even if I don't agree with it, right? So I feel like a lot of times I try to present that side of what I think that they are thinking, even if I don't agree with it. Right now, I don't really know what
You
they're
got
thinking.
nothing?
I don't really know, Whitey. It doesn't make sense to me. There's a lack of direction in my mind. There's a lack of identity for the current team. And there's just more questions than answers.
Yeah, they seem to me, we don't know for sure what's going on behind closed doors. We know that there may be changes afoot. We'll find out about that. But on the court, they seem rudderless, right?
They definitely do. I heard you guys mentioning maybe they've given up on this season. Like, you can't help but have those questions at this current point. There's no reason that you should be. The fact that JT Thor hit a shot to ice the game, I don't think anything represents this season better than the fact that the Washington Wizards, who had 16 wins coming into the night, I believe it was, pulled their best players in the fourth quarter. They are actively trying to lose.
You have Jordan Poole coaching in the fourth quarter on the sideline, coaching.
It's horrible. I don't have it in front of me, but if you look at the net rating of the teams over the last 14 games, the Kings are 11-3 in those games.
I heard you talking about this, I think, on the Return of the War.
And all of the teams surrounding them are the team that they just played yesterday, Washington, Utah, Philadelphia. It's all teams that, again, at this point in the year are actively trying to lose. And part of the Kings' benefit in this play-in race should be that they want to win. And you can't say that about every other team that they're rubbing shoulders with necessarily, but you're not seeing that on the court.
See, I told you, Jay, you weren't going to get Mr. Sunshine today.
Yeah, I don't see no rainbow, no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
If I saw a rainbow, I'd talk about it, man.
Yeah, I ain't mad at you. I think, and this is something that, again, I'm going to propose 916-339-1140. Brendan, you tell me. I think there is a difference, and I understand, there's a gray area within what I'm talking about. I think there's a difference in the form that this team looks like they're counting the days until the end of the season versus they've quit on the staff, so to say, right? And so what's your take on that?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think at this point in the year, speaking for myself, to be honest, I'm already looking at when I'm going to go down to my dad's in SoCal. Like, I'm ready for this to be over, and I'd imagine that players feel similarly. Like, if you
don't
really
you have A's duties?
Hey, I'm still gonna be out at those A's games, Whitey. You'll catch me at the Padres. I'll probably see you out there.
Okay.
I think it's hard to not reach that point because honestly, if they are being truthful with themselves and looking in the mirror, I think that they probably also see the reality of what is the best case scenario here. They get like a gentleman's sweep. They win 2 games maybe against the Thunder, So I think that is a natural point that any team would be feeling at this segment of their season, I guess you would say. So I agree. I don't think it necessarily says something about Doug Christie. I think that there are valid questions about, the DeMar DeRozan conversation of DeMar DeRozan is, the conversation right now is that he's hogging the ball, that nobody else is getting involved. That's not fully on DeMar DeRozan. That's where I think coaching questions can come in. It also is not on DeMar DeRozan that he's the one like controlling the possession and Zach LaVine standing in the corner. Like that is somewhat on Zach as well. I think it's all encompassing where you can place that sort of blame and coaching goes into that. So I don't want to sit here and necessarily say that I think Doug has done a phenomenal job, but he was also dealt a very bad hand.
Very bad.
Extremely tough scenario. I think any coach would be struggling the way that Doug is right now. And I think that it is a valuable learning time for him. And there are definitely players that I think have his back throughout all this. I mean, we saw plenty of players advocate for Doug to become the guy in place of Mike Brown. So, no, I wouldn't say that they're giving up on Doug in this whole process. But there are questions, I think, to be had with, is Doug going to be the guy moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's tougher after last night to justify making him the full-time guy. I still would be surprised if he's not, but that's one of the thoughts I had last night.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying, oh, he has to go, but just like you say, trying to figure out the thinking, well, it's a lot tougher to make him the guy after a loss like last night. Still a lot of pizza left in the box, so there's still time for that to be rectified. But Jay, a few moments ago, made what I think was a absolutely key point here, and I know it's something that Franklin Cardicelli keeps hammering away at. With all the issues the Kings are having, it's hard, to find one thing above everything else. But I think the defense, specifically the perimeter defense, has probably been their biggest issue this season. Would you agree?
I would agree. And I tend to focus more on like the offensive side because I think that honestly, I expected them to be really bad at defense. And the offensive side is where I thought they were supposed to be good. So I focus more on that because I'm like, this is what I think could be worked out. The defense is the main problem for sure. I just don't know how you fix that this year. Like, you don't have the talent. I think what Jay said earlier with the athleticism is very on point with perimeter defense and containment in that aspect. I honestly think that Keegan is a little overcast for what they ask him to do. He is a phenomenal defender. I don't know if he's a put him on Steph Curry and LeBron James type of defender. They're asking him to do an extreme amount. And I think he may be overcast a little bit in that role, which does not take away from the progress that he's made defensively. That's been one of the biggest things this whole season, I would say, that and the rebounding for Keegan. So, yes, the defense is the main problem. I just tend to lean more into the offensive issues recently because I think they're a bad defense and there's nothing you really do about it at this point. But you need to have a strength, and that should be the offense, and it hasn't been. You're having these fourth quarter struggles where I think pace is the biggest thing. I think the pace completely disappears at times. And for what it's worth, I think any NBA team should be really good at playing in transition. There's a reason. That's the most simple basketball that you can play in transition.
Right.
And so every team, like when you hear, I feel like I've heard this throughout the last couple of years, like, oh, we're a really good transition team. What team is bad in transition? Mm-hmm. And they're the bad teams, So yes, I think that should be a strength for every team. And the defense is a problem, but I really think they need to figure out the offense because that's what the talent on this roster, I think, leads towards.
Yeah, I would agree with most of that. I would say this, and this is, it's a difficult conversation, and it's literally getting ready to be had. And it's not to be had today. But I definitely believe there are some players on this team who are given credit for some of the attributes that me personally, and I'm speaking for myself, just don't see. And so I think we need to really have a conversation when it comes to just who are some of these guys that are on the roster. And with that also being said, what they can attribute to this team. Everyone's looking for 3-and-D specialists, so to say. I think Keon has kind of turned into one of those guys. I think most people would consider Keegan Murray a 3-and-D guy, Whitey, as you said. But we also need to start to look at, DeMar is kind of an outlier in the NBA. I believe Zach LaVine is getting close to becoming an outlier when it comes to the NBA. Hence why, there's been some hesitation of the reasoning of people not going after Zach LaVine. I like Zach LaVine's game. I think he fits with a certain group of people, but I'm not sure that fits right now when it comes to Sacramento Kings. I say all that to say, Brendan, to you is when we start to look at the offseason, and we're not there yet, but without a full teardown, a full, rehab of this team, where are some of the places that Brendan is starting to look at immediately?
Yeah, I think it's a tough question. I agree with a lot of what you're saying, by the way. I think a lot of the issue here is that you're trying to fit like a square peg into a round hole. You're asking Malik Monk to be a point guard, and he's a scorer. And I think that all the best teams in the league are optimizing their talent. They're like, hey, this is what this guy's good at, so let's let him do that and not ask him to do the things that are not him.
Kings have a bad habit of going away from their strengths.
Right. And DeMar right now, DeMar became a great playmaker in San Antonio. To his credit, he was a great playmaker beforehand, but really upped that in San Antonio. I think they've made him the point guard over these last few games, and that's out of necessity. You have to do that. His assist numbers are up, but that goes against the pace aspect. I think that they are best playing in pace, specifically LaVine, and DeMar being your hub of all this. That's a slow pace. That's where DeMar thrives.
Right.
And again, it's just about, I think, to your more broad question of like, you got to go figure out how you can get these guys in their optimized roles. And I think that means going and getting a point guard. Like, we've heard the idea of KD out there, but we've also heard Trae Young, and like, it doesn't answer your defense question at all, but that
I like it. I know why he's saying no, but I like it.
There's aspects of it that I can see for sure. You need a point guard. The whole DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine thing, and there's no guarantees both those guys will be on this roster next season.
Otherwise, there's not going to be enough shots if you have these guys and add Trae Young. But anyway,
we don't know. Point being, when they were good on Chicago, they had Lonzo Ball that was the orchestrator of everything,
Yes.
right? Just the organizer of, hey, this guy hasn't touched the ball in a sec. I should probably get this in his
I
direction.
think Tamar mentioned that when I asked the two of them about playing well together. I think he brought that up himself.
Yeah, exactly. So like a guy like that makes sense, but I think that's the thing that they need to figure out this offseason, because I expect them to triple down. I think they're going to try and remain competitive, but you have to try to figure out the talent that does remain on this team, because you don't know about DeMar, you don't know about Domas. There's a lot of questions. We don't know who even the guy making these decisions is going to be, to be honest.
We don't even know if it's going to be a guy.
Right.
We have no clue.
That's true.
Yeah.
We have no clue. But I think that you need to, whatever talent you do keep, you need to figure out how to optimize them and get them in the roles where they are comfortable. Let them be themselves rather than trying to ask them to do things that are just not in their wheelhouse.
There is one thing, very valuable lesson I think the Kings have learned, and we'll come back with that. And you're welcome to stay, Brendan. I know you got stuff
I'll
to
be
do.
here. I got
Will you?
Yeah, sure.
Nice. All right. The very valuable lesson I think the Kings have learned the last few weeks. Next with the Drive, guys. Brendan sitting in with us today on Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, UC Davis, and Sac State with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com to join.
Lowe's knows that your business is built on speed and trust. That's why the Lowe's Pro Desk is here to get you what you need the moment you need it. We'll help you plan your project, calculate your materials, and pivot when your job takes an unexpected turn. And with our pro-only checkout and dedicated pro parking, you have what you need to tackle your job and be back on the job in no time. Just visit us at the Pro Desk. Lowe's knows pros. We help. You save.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, other insurers, not available in all states and situations.
What's going on, world? It's your boy Kevin Hart with some exciting news. I am coming to a city near you. My new tour is called Acting My Age, and I want to see you there. Come out, have a good night, a good time. It's all new material in a much, much more intimate setting. Go get your tickets and head to KevinHartNation.com now.
Comedy superstar Kevin Hart brings his new tour, Acting My Age, to the venue at Thunder Valley on Saturday, April 26th. Tickets on sale now at ThunderValleyResort.com and KevinHartNation.com.
49ers are on the clock. Don't miss Sacktown Sports coverage of the upcoming draft, brought to you by Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge. No one covers pro football like Sacktown Sports, and there's no place better to enjoy it than with over 80 screens at Twin Peaks and their ice-chilled 29-degree drafts at the 5 p.m. happy hour kickoff.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
It was not a pleasant night if you're a Kings fan last night, but, well, I don't pretend to know what you went through, but could be worse. I mean, Ramsey just came in. Ramsey was listed game last night doing deliveries, and he got a flat tire. Where was it? Not Shingle Springs.
Valley Springs.
Yeah, he got a flat tire.
Who the hell knows where that's at?
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
During the fourth quarter. So he's listening to JT Thor as he's fixing a flat tire. So that's not pleasant.
It is not. It is not. I struggled to imagine that any Kings fan had a great night last night.
Right.
You know.
I know. And I was, I don't know if you heard Brendan earlier. I was saying, even during those rough patches last night, I was I was telling my wife, Sheeny, I was saying, yeah, this is rough. They're still going to win, though. It's not going to be a great win you can feel good about, but they're still going to win. And she was saying, yeah, I don't know about that. I just couldn't wrap my brain around them losing to the Wizards.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it should not be a scenario where we're sitting here after talking about this today because they did lose to the Wizards. But I think that nothing says more that going into these games against the Hornets and the Wizards, that I was out at a lot of these A's games recently, a lot of Kings reporters out there. We all had a similar feeling that they're probably going to lose one of these games.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that says more about this team.
Yeah. Now we got to cross our fingers that they win one of them.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Okay. I think a valuable lesson has been learned. A lot of very smart, right-minded people have been saying for a long time now that maybe the Kings would have been better off just kind of, resting people, tanking, if you will. I know, Brendan, you and I have talked about that, and you have you've expressed that you think that would have made sense for the Kings. At this point, it's out the window. We'll see about next year. I'm with you. They're probably not going to do that. But here's my point. I thought, well, you can't do that because you have to see if this group of players works, because you have to know whether you want to commit to it going forward in the offseason or not. And I do think one thing they've learned here as they've played these meaningful games, I think you've learned that DeRozan and Levine, like a lot of people have said, they don't work together. And I think going forward into next year, that's not on one or the other, but the two of them together, it does not work.
Which the crazy thing is that I think Bulls fans could have told you that years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like you're trying to do something that was already attempted and did not go well.
Right.
And they decided to move on from that. And you are willingly signing up to do the same thing. So I agree with you. I think there's aspects of, you got to figure it out. And it's not as black and white as like what happened in Chicago is going to happen here. I get the logic of, hey, we have Domas, like we have a facilitator here. He's our Lonzo equivalent, right? And the Bulls were near the top of the East for like half a year there with these two guys.
First year, and they were both all-stars.
Right.
Yeah.
So I see the logic, but I think the main case of where you see, to your point, it not working, it's the Domas thing in my mind, where, again, he's supposed to be the hub. He's supposed to – it's really a team of a lot of hoopers, and I feel like he's the one out there trying to get everybody organized. But I don't think that his style meshes with Zach's or with DeMar's. And he's talked about it in the initial adjustments of when they acquired those guys, that Zach needs the ball in his hands a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that means that we're not really talking about dribble handoffs. We're talking about more traditional screens. And that's a basic thing. But Domas' talent, and I think what makes him so special, is making other guys better. And I think that a lot of the way that Levine and DeMar go about things makes it tough for Domas to be able to do that. So I think, to me, that's the main point that I've seen of, this doesn't fit.
Yeah. Another thing that they were hoping to learn was, is Doug Christie the guy going forward? And I don't think we really know. He's certainly done some positive things that you would say, wow, he's held this team together through a difficult stretch. But as far as like the X's and O's, he's been handed, as you said, not only a bad hand, but the roster, you're at so many cross purposes. And sometimes when you have a roster that doesn't fit, it looks like, wow, that team's not well coached. But I don't know that you could coach this current roster and have them look like, a well-oiled machine. It's unfair to Doug that he's had to prove himself with this roster, in my opinion.
I would agree. And it makes it extremely tough to evaluate a coach, which is what they're attempting to do.
Sure. You
right
have
now.
to try to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think that Doug has done the best job imaginable, I guess. Not that there's certain things that he couldn't have done better, obviously.
Well, he's not perfect.
Right. And nobody is. But
he's not Dave Yeager.
Like, does this go any differently if Mike Brown is still here? I don't, probably not, And so, I mean, I think there's a weird aspect of guys push for Doug to be the head coach, but that doesn't mean that every single person in that locker room necessarily wanted the change, so there might be some guys that are sitting there like, I don't know about all this. Mm-hmm. So I think it's definitely a tough hand, like you said. And I think it's difficult to evaluate the job that Doug has done up to this point. And really, in my mind, the only way they can evaluate that is just, hey, end of season meetings, like you need to have a conversation with Malik and with DeMar and with Domas. Like, hey, how did you feel about the job that Doug has done? Because I think that's what matters more than anything. And I don't really have an answer for that right now. So we'll see. And again, we don't even know who's going to be making that decision. If you if you change the front office, are they allowed to pick their head coach?
Yeah. And there's no way of knowing this, but I wonder, Brendan Nunes sitting with us today for a little bit. And of course, Jay and I wonder if that is impacting at all the performance of the players. The fact that, they're professionals, they're focusing on the task at hand, but how about this coach? Is he going to be back? I don't know. I hope he is, but I don't know. we don't even know who's going to make that decision. It can be a little unsettling. I've seen that happen to teams in different sports.
Right. I mean, I think that we could draw like a parallel to this. Like if you don't know who you're about to do the show with, you can't prepare to the best of your ability, and I don't think that the Kings know for a fact who is going to be here next year. And so these last games should be working towards the next season as well, but you have no clue what next season is going to look like. And the fact that there's things coming out about like Domas is unsure about the future of this team. If you don't know if you're going to be here, I find it hard for somebody to actually like really give their all to a scenario if you have those questions. I think that that's more of a subconscious thing in my mind, right? Is that like, I'm not trying to say Domas isn't trying, but if you have those questions, I think that does impact how you go about your day to day.
Yeah. Jay, I start to feel like I'm making excuses, and I don't mean to do that.
Yeah, it's tough though, Whitey, because it's tough to get to the point of reality versus excuses versus, well, you know what? there are some issues that's facing the team. And so I guess reality versus non-reality is what I'm saying. It is definitely tough as a person, as a human being, to not know what's happening. Some people live on a calendar. Some people live on a schedule. And some people live, as they say, fly by the seat of your pants, right? And so there are different instances where you can cross both over and they work. Opposites will attract. But I find it super interesting, and I think you guys are hitting something spot on in the form of, how am I supposed to give everything that I'm possibly trying to give when I don't really know what the results are going to be at the end of the rainbow, at the end of this season? And so that's why I said I really started it, not to be repetitive. I really believe this team is looking at the days of the week and saying, oh my goodness, we're getting close to the 13th, and that's what we're looking forward to. That's our end goal versus, you know what, we're giving up on the season. I think they're looking for the results, and until, only time is going to give them results. And so I think they're really trying to fashion themselves into, let's just get to the end of the season and see what happens. I will say this, and this is something that I'm going to ask both of you guys, and Brendan, please answer first. There has to be.
I wanted to go first.
Yeah, but it's okay. You go first all the time. You go first, even on the beginning of the show. The stability that seems to have come into conversation quite a bit over the last week. I think you guys would agree. Stability of this organization, and due to system general manager and assistant coach and firing and star player. We hear Domas. We hear whispers of the owner. All these different things that we're starting to have conversations about. Fellas, why not just come out and say? Why not come out and stand on something? Why, if you're the Sacramento Kings, would you not come out, if nothing else? And I saw Dave tweet this because I think a listener asked him this, is where is the ownership group for this team to say, hey, listen, this is a difficult season we're going through. Stand tall. I'm trying to figure out where that is right now.
I agree. I mean, I think that a lot of the accountability should be placed towards them. Honestly, the most that we've heard from Vivek is that he said play ball at an A's game the other day.
Yeah.
We have not heard from Vivek for years. I've been around the team. What I've been credentialed maybe this is year 4. I've never spoken to Vivek. I appreciate you, Jay. I've never spoken to Vivek in that time. In a press conference, whatever it may be.
He's saying he's dodging you?
I'm not saying that. I'm not special like that, Whitey. You probably don't even know who I am, Whitey. I'm not trying to act special here. I'm just saying I agree with your general point, Jay.
Like you and Wes? No, I said, is you and Vivek like Wes and Alan Stiles?
Sure, we can go with that. We can go with that. Yeah, we ran into each other, and I'm like, oh gosh, that was a threat, No, I mean, I agree. Like, you've had so much turnover that at what point? I mean, Sam Amick is saying as much that like Monty McNair came out and took the fault for the Mike Brown thing. But Sam Amick has reported, and I've heard the same thing, that was not Monty McNair's thing. That's ownership. And Zach LaVine coming into town, he was previously tied to the Kings under different management under Vlade Divac. Yeah. And who's the consistency? Who's been here the whole time? It's Vivek.
Yeah.
And so he is doing what he can, don't get me wrong, but yes, he's the consistency here. And I think the accountability should go to him a little bit. It would do a lot to hear from him is all, I think, is kind of your point, Jay. Like, just calm everybody down. Just say, hey, we have a plan.
I think the tricky thing for him here, and I agree with you.
I know where you're going, Why?
I've been saying this for a while. I'd love to see that. but I think he's been trying to show that
I'm not meddling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. And so now if he comes out and says, this is really what we're doing, then that runs counter to what he is trying to get people to embrace.
But I think there is a way. And of course, we're asking them, we're asking the Kings ownership and the stable part of this organization to thread the needle. No doubt. I'm not, I'm not
That's
defending
fair.
that. I'm asking these guys to come out, girls and gals, girls and guys, to come out and say, if there's nothing else that's stable right now that your eyes can see, your heart doesn't feel the stability right now from the on-court play, the coaching, the assistant coaching, the star players, the in and out, the revolving door so much this year. If nothing else, stick with us, because at the end of the calendar season, there's going to be some things that I believe everybody else will enjoy. And if not, you'll see us working towards a goal. And with that being said, to me, that lets me know you're not trying to meddle in the basketball operations, which is where people are, oh my goodness, he's got his hands on drafts and, free agency and all these type of topics. I'm just saying, show the stability in what you do have. And if nothing else on this team right now, the stability is this ownership group is not going nowhere. We know that. So just come out and say, hey, listen, this year has been tough. Stick with us. You guys are the greatest fans on earth. I mean, showers, throw the flowers, put the rose petals on the ground, like coming to America. Whatever you got to do it, but also show we here. We not tucking tail. We not running.
I think that one reason, again, they're not doing that is, in my opinion, Brendan, there's going to be changes this offseason. I think we're in that awkward period. All of us right now, they're evaluating things. And I think that speech, when it comes, will be, this is now who we are. It might not even come from Vivek, but I think there's a real good chance it's going to look a lot different this summer.
I think so, too. The fact that we're hearing like GM candidate names probably says a lot about the security of Monty McNair. But I definitely agree with your point, Jay. I think the main thing is that like all these people are trying. Nobody is like attempting to make this all go downhill. Vivek cares about Sacramento. Vivek wants this team to be good. He's comparing sports to religion, and like that, there's nothing that says more about how he thinks how important this team is to this city.
In this town.
100%. I agree with a lot of that. He's trying, and I think there is value in coming out and saying, hey, like, we're trying to figure this out. I know that we don't make every right turn. Nobody does, and they made too many wrong turns. Don't get me wrong, but they're trying. They're trying. They got their GPS. They have a location in mind. They're just taking a wrong turn every once in a while. But I do think, to your point, Jay, there's a lot of value in coming out and just being like, hey, we are trying to figure this out.
You can stick around one more?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Really?
I'm here.
All right.
Yeah, why not?
Awesome. Yeah. When we come back.
Love the positivity, Brendan.
Yeah. There he comes.
That's what I'm here for.
Now it's starting to shine through. Is there any way the Kings really could fall out of the play-in tournament? We'll look at that next on Sacktown Sports.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half, and if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me, and now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com. Get ready, NorCal. The Lodi Beer Fest and State Barbecue Championship is on Saturday, April 26th at the Lodi Grape Festival grounds. There will be something for everyone. Craft beers from over 50 breweries, live music, outrageous food, games, plus taste barbecue from world-class barbecue teams. For tickets and more information, go to grapefestival.com. Must be 21 years of age or older to attend. The Lodi Beer Fest, where great brews meet legendary cues. Saturday, April 26th in Lodi.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Maida Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST.
After rebates, year-end savings on now with $8,000 off new Silverados at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Here you go, Brendan. This is Slipping into Darkness.
Oh, this is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, of course I've heard this.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
No. Feels like something I'd be like playing like shuffleboard to.
Shuffleboard?
I don't know. I don't
Who's playing shuffleboard?
He's saying this
Every
is like
once
a
in a while.
geezer song.
Oh, man, you think an AARP card to jump on this?
Was it meant to be offensive?
Man.
I love me some good shuffleboard.
Oh, but when the last time you picked up the stick in the shuffleboard situation? That's how much you love it.
Jay.
Right?
It's been a sec, Jay. Have you guys ever played? This is a game I've never played, but seen, and it looks fun. The lawn bowling or the bocce ball, whatever it is. You ever play
Yeah, I
that?
never played.
Oh, where you got to get like the ball closest to. There's like a smaller ball that gets rolled out, and the next ones you throw, you got to get as close to that
I
smaller
guess
one.
so. I've never played it. I've just seen it. I don't even know if
I
that's
played bocce ball way back when.
Yeah?
I played shuffleboard more recently than bocce ball, but I have played it.
Is it fun? Yeah.
It's all right. I'm competitive. I'm very competitive, and I'm like a crap talker, so I could have fun with any sort of competitive environment.
Didn't I hear? I could have swore I heard you talking about you were the glorified banker of the family for Monopoly. I don't remember what show I heard that on.
This is true.
Banker or the
Yeah.
Shifty? You a little shifty, huh?
Yeah, I joined you guys. And,
Okay,
yeah. We do like to play Monopoly on my dad's side, and nobody wants to be banker except for me. And they swear that I win every time because I'm banker. And I'm like, well, somebody else be banker. I think it's a job that should be salaried, is my point. You know, and every other circle around go, I get an extra 100 because I'm doing more work.
Brennan's imposing tariffs on the other players and stuff.
Absolutely.
You can't impose a tariff on me when you're the banker.
Well, yeah, and people are like, hey, how does this happen every time? I'm like, well, then you be the banker. And nobody wants to. So,
Shifty banker.
Hey, salaried job. As far as
once
I'm
you're
concerned.
labeled a shifty banker, that is a tough label.
You know what else
to
I'm
get
labeled,
rid of.
though? Is a winner. I win every time. I win every time. All right.
Brendan, is there any way? I know you look at the
What
numbers, you
you
crunch the
said
numbers.
is 100% accurate.
For real. That's one of my favorite mics because that was in response to one of my comments.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, what you said is 100%
Always a
accurate.
great feeling.
Yeah.
You know, when you get that, like,
Yeah.
that's a great question. I instantly look at the reporter and I'm like, oh, they are feeling themselves right now.
Right. Could the Kings fall out of the play-in tournament? They lead Phoenix by 1. I know anyone who follows this knows this. Their last 6 games, let's see. Sacramento has at Charlotte, at Detroit, at Cleveland. That's actually, that's a back-to-back. That's the other way around, but that's a back-to-back. Denver, Clippers, and the Suns. The Suns are at Boston, at the Knicks. Then they play Golden State, OKC, San Antonio, and then they wrap things up against the Kings.
I heard about 12 losses in there for Phoenix, and there's only 12 games left.
Durant is not with them on this road trip, and the road trip includes Boston and then the Knicks. So if the Kings beat Charlotte, and the Suns lose to Boston,
It shouldn't be a big if, but it is.
I mean, it starts to open up a little bit, right? I still have a hard time believing Phoenix passes the Kings.
So do I. I think that as positive as I've been today.
And I know a lot of people right now saying we don't want to be in there.
Right.
We want to keep the pick. But,
which I personally think that also is, in my mind, I would rather keep the pick if I'm the Kings, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah, we'll put that aside.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to fall out of the play-in. Now, last night's loss to Washington doesn't give you the most confidence going into Charlotte, but I think that if anything, you would hope that loss locks you in even more so. The whole point, like Doug mentioned a lot after the game, that hey, I know we're going to show up and be competitive against the good teams. It's overlooking these bad ones. So you would think that having that blunder means that you're going to be locked in going into the next one. So I think they'll do all right. And it is, I agree with you. It's hard for me to imagine Phoenix ending up passing them. And that's not a necessarily, great mark on the Kings that I think they're phenomenal. I think Phoenix just has a lot of issues themselves. They're not firing their coach with 8 games left like Memphis, but I think that coach is on the way out. They have a lot of questions in the direction they're going to go. So they have similar struggles. And for that reason, I struggle to see them passing the Kings.
Jay had sent a note from Bobby Marks today. And if I have this right, going into last night's games, the 3 teams battling for the 9-10 spot had lost combined 8 in a row, something like that. But did you see what Dallas did last night?
I saw AD's stat line that they won by 1.
Yeah. He had the game winner after he got elbowed in the eye.
That's what the bandage was from?
Anthony Davis, Mr. Street Clothes, and he puts the Band-Aid over his eye and comes back and hits the game winner for him.
He's ridiculously good. A random tangent for half a sec. It bothers me so much how much that people talk about the Luka trade like they got nothing. Like Anthony freaking Davis wasn't part of this deal. I think everybody forgets how good AD is.
I agree with you.
If he was healthy this entire time since they traded him,
that's the whole thing.
I think
with
Dallas
him,
really would be a borderline contender, in that conversation.
Wow.
He is really that level in my mind of player.
If Kyrie was also healthy.
Right, exactly. Yeah, all encompassing, right? A lot of ifs with that team for sure. But no, I mean, I think they're really talented, and the Kings have talent. The Suns have talent. They all have it there. It's just about meshing it and trying to get it working in the right direction.
That's the other thing, Jay. Brendan, I started to wonder after the game last night. I don't know what the answer is, but I started asking myself, are the Kings really as talented as we all assume they are? And I'm working on it.
I think they are, but I think it goes back to what we had talked about previously. It's optimizing that talent, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have untapped talent on your team, like things that you're just not fully able to utilize. Like obviously Zach LaVine standing in the corner, you're not optimizing that talent. I think it's Slater comes on with you guys, right? I think Slater mentioned right after you guys, right after the Kings had traded for LaVine, that when you lean into the strengths is great, right? When you are not leaning into the strengths of a player, their weaknesses feel even worse. And I think that you're seeing that happen, and that doesn't take away from the talent. But I think my main point is that the talent, I still think is there. I don't have that question. It's just about actually optimizing it and figuring out the best way that we can get the most from all of these guys.
So I was going to say, I think a lot of it is individual talent.
Right.
This team is individually gifted, no doubt about it. It's just, as you guys are talking about, it's just coming together.
Right.
I don't know how you do that at this point.
Well, you don't. And I mean, I think we have to come to fruition to the point that you don't. The 7 games left, you just, unless you catch lightning in a bottle, flip the switch, something happens, the basketball gods, allow you to do so. I think we've kind of probably prognosticated this 3 weeks ago. Like the things that we were hoping and asking for, we just kept continuing to say, well, maybe time helps it. Maybe time helps it. Maybe practice helps it. Maybe more time together, maybe more practices together, maybe, experience, all those different things. But unfortunately, they have been picked off in so many different ways of injury, illness, assistant coaches leaving, all these different things that have happened to where I just don't think it's going to happen this season. And I think we have to come to fruition and say that time has run its course. Now we just need to look forward to how this team finishes and then start to look forward to the offseason.
I think that strategy, I was going to say, I think that strategy of all the options made some sense. Like, let's hope it comes together. It hasn't. So I don't know what you do now, but I do understand why at that point it was kind of, well, let's put all these ingredients in the soup and let's hope we end up with something tasty.
100%. And I think to your point, Jay, of like the essentially phoning it in right now, because you just got to look in the mirror and be real about what's going on. I think it goes back to answering your previous question of dudes aren't giving up. It's just, that's the reality of what's going on right now. And it's hard to not, even if you're in it, honestly, even more so if you are directly involved in it as one of these players, you probably feel that even more than we do.
Yeah, we're coming right back here. I don't know how much longer we're going to have Brendan around.
However long you want.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
I don't got anything going on.
Cool. Why saying the Kings coasted is giving them too much credit. Next with the Drive Guy, Sacktown Sports.
Sing enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text KING to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful Fed incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text KING to 321-321. That's KING to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, for the A's to have any chance of contending this year, it will start with starting pitching. And besides the tough outing by Joey Estes in the home opener, and looking back at the Seattle series and led by offseason acquisitions Luis Severino and Jeffrey Springs, the A's starters went 23 2/3 innings. They allowed just 14 hits and 3 earned runs. Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business with reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solution, and Wi-Fi backup. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. For details on special offers, including free professional installation and up to a $500 Visa prepaid card on qualifying internet bundles, log on to business.comcast.com. Comcast Business, powering possibility.
I love this time of year when the azaleas begin to bloom and the singing birds' sweet dawn chorus remind us that blue skies and sunshine are at hand. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. In sports, the definition for the word master is one who's achieved a high degree of skill, and that will be on display in the highly anticipated golf tournament. In the furniture business, a master is a highly skilled craftsman, an artist even, whose work is coveted by those who appreciate design, quality, and durability. John Keyes was the mastermind of Naturewood Home Furnishings. He knew that you wanted your home to reflect your personal style, whether that was a plain coffee table or a masterpiece for you to enjoy forever. That's why when you walk into Naturewood Home Furnishings, you'll find the largest and best selection of the highest quality home furnishings in Northern California. Masterful. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the best truck on the market, the 2025 Ram 1500. And that's not an exaggeration. It's proven. It's the 7th time Ram has won the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Car & Driver named it one of its 10 best vehicles of 2025, giving it a 10 out of 10. And at J.D. Power, it's #1 when it comes to brand vehicle quality. And hey, yeah, all that's great. But where Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram really separates themselves from the pack is their car buying experience. Come on in and see for yourself why they say it's where a handshake still means something.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Zach Geloff underwent surgery to repair his right hand, and he's likely to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Second base duties will be a battle between Max Schumann and Max Muncy. Brady Basso and his left shoulder strain continues to go through a throwing program, and the A's are hopeful that he can begin pitching in minor league games shortly after the start of the regular season. On the court, Malik Monk makes his return from illness as the Kings push to make the play-in. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hi, I'm Alan Stiles. Injured at work? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they've won over $500 million in settlements. Downtown LA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call Downtown. Text Injury Help to 40222. That's Injury Help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
KHD 1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Kings win the tip. Horn sounds. This ball game is over. Well, you only can tip your cap and congratulate the Washington Wizards. For 2 years in a row, as dramatic underdogs on their home floor, they've entertained the Sacramento Kings, and they've walked off the floor victorious. Final score is 116 to 111.
The Drive Guys, live and local. Every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
I feel worse about the loss after hearing that, the great G-Man, because you can hear the weight that he's carrying there as he very professionally explains what's going on, and the Wizards do it again. And it's been he lives and dies with the Kings. This has been very, very disappointing for everyone. And the G-Man, I know he was expecting more himself.
I would hope so. I think we kind of all were. And I agree with you. That was a little bit of a depressing call from G-Man. Well warranted. And, it's funny to hear him give credit to the Wizards, and that is deserved. But, there's only so much that he can say. But
You said
the
the
Kings
word.
threw that one away.
You said the word properly is professional.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I might not have been professional at that
Right,
time.
right,
What is
right.
going on here?
The team wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got to be tough, and that's probably a question for Draper down the road. Might have to ask him during the summer about how do you keep your wits? When you go in and you kind of nothing's a guarantee, but you look at the Wizards and the 16 W's and you're fighting for a play-in, you kind of want to pencil that in, if nothing else.
Yeah, G-Man's seen it all. When I say seen it all,
Oh, well, yeah, for
I
sure.
always go back to this one, because when the Kings have a loss like this, and they've had a few over the last couple of years, people start to wonder, why is that their worst loss ever? And I always go back to this game, and I'm sure G-Man was on the call, January 10th, 1991. The Charlotte Hornets, who were in their, third year of existence, whatever it was, they beat the Kings 101-59.
Yes.
Whitey, I feel really bad for you that you remember this game.
I'll never forget it.
That sounds horrible. You sound very damaged.
Yeah, and I think the Kings had one of those.
What'd you say the final was?
101-59.
Oh,
dropping the Kings to 7-25.
You should get that. You should get that paycheck docked.
And I think they had one of those they had a record road losing streak, which they eventually broke.
Yeah, they broke.
But I remember that game, if I remember correctly, it's like, well, they're going to break it tonight against Charlotte. And they scored 59.
Something like 40, what was it, 45, 44 games they had lost in a row on the road.
It might have been 44.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they finally beat the Bullets, who were the Bullets at the time.
It
They
definitely could be worse, but I think that Chris Watkins has made a really good point recently that usually at the end of these years, it's like Ben McLemore time. You can get excited by AJ Johnson, I believe that was the Wizard yesterday. Like the Wizards get to get excited about hey, look what this guy's doing at this point in the year. I don't know where the excitement that Kings fans can find right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Last night after the game, Doug, and you could see this was a especially tough one, and we all know, and you're in there with them, Brendan, that some of these press conferences he's had to hold, they're very difficult. Last night might have been the toughest, and it was a stand-up in the tunnel there in D.C., and he said, I think part of it is we got the play-in coming up, and we're kind of coasting, waiting for the play-in, and, he says that's part of what's going on. Now, I don't blame him for saying that. He's just struggling for things to say. But I think to say the Kings coasted, and again, I don't. All right. Here's Doug Christie postgame last night.
The different things I've been on that side, on both sides of that one right there, and the intensity has to ratchet up, and those are things that you have to bring, because at this level, anybody can beat you on any given night. And you can't coast in thinking, oh, we'll get to the play-in and then we'll turn it on. And that's been a bit of what's going on, the ability to turn it on and turn it off. You have to play at a certain intensity level, and there is nothing else. You have to play at that level against teams that are at the bottom of this league or they're at the top of this league, period. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame him for saying that, but that's giving the team too much credit when you say they coasted, because that implies that, we're good enough. We could have won this game. We just kind of, we didn't take it seriously. And I think the problems are deeper than that.
They were down like the whole second half. It's not like they like blew a lead.
Right.
They were losing for a sec there.
Yeah.
And I think that you see stretches of like Domas had like 9 points in a row. Jonas comes in after him. Jonas scores like 8 straight for this team. And that stands out. I think that Malik had a different stretch, or it was somebody else, but I feel like there's a lot of instances. Keegan has had a great quarter. Trey Lyles has had a great quarter. Not specifically last night's game, but I think in the last handful. And it's those instances where it's like, all right, this guy has it rolling. Let's just keep going to him. Yeah. But you don't have the flow. It should be anybody's opportunity. And it feels like more often than not, it's all right, this guy has it going. Let's just keep going back there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's individuals. It really goes back to that. I think that's a great point, Brendan. I think, Malik had it turned on a little bit at a certain point in time last night. Like you said, JV was balling, which, by the way, I know, a lot of what's been going on this past year hasn't been at the highest level of positivity. And I joked about Brendan coming on being positive. But if there's something to be really positive about, I truly believe they hit on JV's move. Like, JV needs to be a part of this team next year. I know he's got 2 more on the contract. If I'm the Sacramento Kings, no matter who, what, where, and why is coming into this front office, and whoever's going to coach this team, and assistants, and whoever, video content creators, and everything, all the other little spots they hire for, he needs to be a part of this squad, because he has shown and proven that he is a true baller. And I really like what he brings to the table for the Kings.
Yeah, was it Bub Carrington that he caught last night?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. That was great. I had to replay it back. I'm like, wow, he just picked up that guy. I thought Katie had a great point on the broadcast. That does something to you. Like, the fact that I just got carried by this guy makes me feel a type of way. It's a former teammate. It's all fun, but just JB reminded people how big he is out there.
Fisher was laughing when he saw that. Yeah. Should he be playing more minutes?
I think that he might next year, I guess. I think there's a chance he's the starting center for this team moving forward. I mean, all the Domas stuff I think is real, that he has questions about the future of the team. And if you decide to go in a different direction, like JV is a starting caliber center in my mind. And I think that he can fill that role. And often that's a role that you see, you try to be picky about, like, hey, maybe we don't want to spend that much money on who our center is necessarily. And Domas is a great player. That's not to take away from Domas, but no, I mean, I think that JV might get more opportunity going into next year. Last couple games of this year, I think what he's been doing is all right. I think that the 15 to 20 a night probably sounds about okay. It has been a little weird to me that how much I feel like Doug has gone away from him for stretches. Like, I get trying the backup center thing. Mm-hmm. I personally would probably just keep rolling with JV in that backup spot consistently, but they're going to continue to try to figure things out to close this year. But I think long-term that JV is going to have a really important role on this team.
Getting back to Domas, he has not been productive since De'Aaron Fox was traded.
He had no assists the other day.
Yeah. And I don't think he took any shots in the fourth quarter last night. I didn't print out the fourth quarter, and his number, like last night, the numbers like, wow, those are good numbers. I'm not saying he's been bad, but he was looking like, wow, that guy's going to be all league. And since the All-Star break, he hasn't put up those type of numbers. He just hasn't been the same player.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to what we said earlier. Like when Zach first got traded here, I remember asking Domas about adjusting to playing with him, and a lot of it was, hey, Zach needs the ball in his hands a little bit more. Like, I'm just figuring out, again, Domas's best talent in my mind is making other guys better, but that means that you have to figure out the way to do that, and that's a process. I don't know if Domas is the dude that exactly optimizes Zach, or you could throw that vice versa, that Zach is the one that optimizes Domas's talents. So I think a lot of it is that, where also when it comes down to it, all these guys are nice people, I think, as humans, and they're trying to make sure that everybody else is good. But in the process, like, just be yourself and go out there and assert yourself at times. And so I think a lot of that has to do with specifically Zach, and DeMar falls into that as well. Maybe just not, it's a difference in styles, right? It goes back to the individual talent that we all talked about earlier, that it doesn't always mesh together when you put all the pieces.
Yeah, when you got, okay, Zach LaVine and Domas playing together, neither one of them, when they play together, is as good as they need to be. Well, you've got a problem there going forward. But what you were just saying there about how the Kings have a lot of nice guys reminded me of how much Kyle Draper, and he'll be back with us Monday, I think. Drapes will be back with us. How much he appreciated when Malik got into it with Vukcevic last night.
Yeah.
I don't mind that, Katie. I like that a little bit. Yeah.
That sounds about right. I was talking about being a dirty banker earlier. I love the crap talk. I'm all for it. I love Malik for that. I would say so. Yes, absolutely. I'm all for it. You can't let it take you out of the game, and I don't think that did, but there are instances where I think that happens, and there's a time and place. Don't get me wrong, but no, I thought it was fitting. I love the little bit of an edge, that Malik brings. I feel like Trey brings that. Jonas is probably the nicest person that I've talked to as a player. The second he gets on the court, I don't want to be around that dude at all. Like, sure, he's carrying dudes that he's old friends with, but he's throwing bows. Like, this is a physical team that has some crap to them, and I like that.
Do the Kings still need a little more dog in them, Jay?
Oh, absolutely.
We talked about that for years.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I want a whole squad full. And for me, that starts at the top too. I think you got to have someone like a Coach Christie who's got a little dog in him. I need someone who's going to call out a few different things and, be a little mean to Brendan and them in the media. I don't need the Willie foo-foo, pat me on the back. Everything is positive rainbows and hummingbirds. And so I'm definitely with.
That was a good pull. You were running out of things to say to hummingbirds.
Well, how they're flapping them wings, brother. But yeah, I'm definitely one of those guys. I've been one of those guys that say I would prefer to have a team of dogs and teach them how to relax and when to let them off the chain compared to I got a bunch of soft puppies, a bunch of poodles, so to say.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
It's easier to tone it down than like generate it and create.
I love him. He's a nice guy. He's a handsome little cool guy, man. I mean, I bet he make the honor roll all the time and all that kind of stuff.
But yeah, I would rather have to teach a team to be professional than vice versa. I think you have it in you or you don't.
So it's like the whole Draymond Green thing, right? You can't stand him, but if he's on
definitely
your team,
got it.
Yeah, he's on your team, you appreciate it. Would there be I don't know that the Kings are even considering this or that he would want it. Do you think there would be much of a market for Domas in the offseason if he made it clear and the Kings said, all right, we'll look to see what's out there?
I've been trying to get a gauge on that, and I don't really know. Like, I've had people ask, like, well, where would it make sense? And I think that he's a tough player to figure that out because he's unique. The same way that we're talking about, like, I don't know that he's optimized next to Zach and Domas or Zach and DeMar. DeMar may be a little bit more unique, but there's a lot of Zach LaVines in the league to an extent, right? That's not to take away from Zach.
You'd wonder, right, to your point, Brendan, well, which Domas am I getting?
Right.
The Mike Brown version or the Doug Christie version?
100%. And like he hasn't been the most successful throughout his career when it comes to long-term success. And I think there are a lot of questions about the defense of a center. And like really the only bigs that are getting paid like that are Jokic and Embiid. And I think a lot of the league has the mindset of what I mentioned earlier with like, hey, JV's a good value and we're not spending that much for our center position. So I think there's a lot of that throughout the league that makes it tough. But so I don't really know to answer your question vaguely, but I think like a team like Memphis makes a lot of sense to me. That's mainly what I look at is do you have the forwards to complement Domas? Like Jaren Jackson Jr., I think is the most prime example. Funnily enough, like in theory, Miles Turner is a guy that makes a lot of sense. But the fact that you saw that not work, I think also adds to the questions that other teams may have. So like there will be teams that will be interested. I heard OKC really liked him this offseason before they ended up going in Hartenstein's direction. So I think there definitely will be interest, but I don't think it's going to be overwhelming league-wide. Everybody's calling you.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I don't think there'd be as much interest as many fans think there would be. Also, we'll look at what adjustments could Doug Christie make. If he decided we've got to shake something up, are there any options available? That more. Brendan in for Kyle Draper today. It's a drive, guys, on Sacktown Sports.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery from the law firm of Gingery, Hammer & Associates. When you have been injured by the fault of another, you will want advice you can trust. If you know an attorney you can trust, I hope you call that person. But if you don't, please call me. I promise I will be the attorney you can trust, along with my entire team. I have been helping accident survivors recover compensation for their injuries for 25 years, and we can help you. There is no charge for calling. If you have an injury, Just call Gingery.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPfest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Rocks Tech, Michelob Ultra, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. More info at CITPfest.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
How about that? Jason, he's taking requests today. You got a song that you want to dedicate to the Kings, or a song that you think reflects what's going on? And somebody from the 530, Jay, they didn't even put their name on it. So
all right.
requested that, and you played it.
Yeah, I got their back, man.
That's
You know,
nice.
we're all one. One thing we're trying to do, like the Kings, is jail, baby, jail. You know, we don't want to be individualists here.
Right,
You know, we want to be a squad, a team.
One thing that might help you feel better about basketball, hopefully you're doing fine with this. It's just
Yeah, of
basketball.
course I am.
But I saw my favorite basketball video of the day, and I posted it on X. I saw a video, Jay, of it looks like a bunch of Tibetan monks.
I saw that.
Yeah, and they're playing basketball somewhere, some monastery somewhere. And they're playing 5-on-5, full court, outdoors. And then this one guy goes up and makes this incredible up and under left-handed move. It's amazing. Kind of took me by surprise. Didn't expect a Tibetan monk or whatever kind of monk he is to be that skilled with the basketball.
Oh, see, you haven't seen enough basketball then. You think if I asked the legendary Jerry Reynolds, he could give me a scouting report on him, on that monk?
Yeah, if you saw it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I like it.
He'd say it probably forced him to his right. I remember hearing about, I can't tell you too many details on this, but I remember hearing about somebody who was in is studying to become a priest. And they're playing soccer. All the potential priests, I'm sorry, I don't know what the term for that is. They're playing soccer, and one guy kicks the ball off the other guy's face. The guy says, "Oh yeah, well, F you." They're all supposed to be priests, so I don't know.
That competitive nature comes out, and that's what normally happens.
Yes. We
What
can all
happens in
relate to
sports,
that.
brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brendan, did you happen to see the video today on X of the monks playing basketball?
I did
Tibetan
not.
Monks?
I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one, and this one guy, and they're playing full court outdoors. You can see the mountains in the background. And this guy goes up and makes this incredible up and under move with the left hand.
Man, that ain't nothing.
Now
He
I'm
just
gonna try and
open.
find it.
That's the normal.
I posted, I don't know where I saw it. I forget, but I posted it on X. And they have
But
to play
it's real monks. We're not talking a bunch
Yes,
of
sir.
Maliks out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
Right,
yeah.
but Malik's their favorite player.
Right.
And as Joe Giroux points out, that they
The
play.
fits right away. Right away. The fits. Oh yeah. Gorgeous hoop though. Gorgeous like court in general.
Yeah.
Background's beautiful. They slow-mo the layup. That's
Yeah.
great.
Well,
It's
that's
great.
quite a move there.
Yeah. Might need to scout a little bit, Some of these
Yeah.
international scouts need to hit on it.
You ain't lying.
Right.
Yeah, put that to round ball rock.
Oh yeah. He talks about that layup all the time. All the time. I would never shut up about it.
If you're a monk, though, can you trash talk?
Of course.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Hey,
You
man, it's
probably
sports,
really
brother.
got like some shots that you can find within there.
Really?
Oh yeah.
We were just talking about the possibility. We're looking at all the possibilities here, not trying to be gloomy and doomy. We have Brendan helping us out today with Drapes taking the day off. Possibility of what if Domas is dealt in the offseason? What if the Kings and Domas say, you know what? Yeah, let's see what we can do. And Brendan was just saying he doesn't know what the market would be. If you go back to the trade deadline, we were just talking about Valanciunas, and the Kings got him for just, a couple of twos?
Yeah. 2 seconds.
And there were some pretty good centers that were available. I just think centers are not all that in demand right now, in part because there are some pretty good ones that have been available. Like you could get Vucevic if you wanted him.
Right.
There's Domas though. Slow down. Now.
I know, but there
Slow
are
down.
guys out there. So if the Kings were like trying to drive a hard bar, we need 4 number ones for Domas. You wouldn't get it.
Well, you ain't get that for De'Aaron, so you ain't gonna get that for Domas.
Right.
But I mean, not to jump in front of you. I think there's a difference too, though, Whitey. I think we got to have a realization of Domantas Sabonis as we talk about. You update us graciously every single week or every other week about updates here in the Ringer and CBS and ESPN and all these different places. Domas is a special type of center, though. He's a top 3 type center. And I think if you to use a page out of your book, you're talking about Hartenstein. If Hartenstein is getting damn near $100 million, he ain't no Domas Sabonis, and he's not even close to a Domantas Sabonis. I think they're in different levels in different leagues. Now, does Domantas have to pair with a certain team? Yeah, probably. I would agree with that. But I'm not
limits his market.
Yeah, but I'm not finna shorthand him on that. I think there would be more teams who would be willing to take a flyer and say we could probably infuse him into the squad compared to like, he doesn't really fit here.
I would agree. I mean, I think that the complication here, right, is that I agree with you. I think he's a top 3 center. Like if you want to throw Şengün in there for number 3, whatever, but like he's in this weird tier in my mind where like Jokic and Embiid, no question, Max say what you want about Embiid with all the history stuff, all the health stuff, but when he's healthy, like no questions asked, right? Domas is like right after that. And I think a lot of it for me is like opportunity cost. It's do we want so much of our salary allocated to a big man? And like De'Aaron on his way out talked about how like he thinks the league is run by wings. I tend to agree. Like guards have a lot of value in this league. And that's not to just overshadow the center market. I think there's just a weird aspect here of he's not quite that top tier where it's just no question you pay him. He's in a, I think, kind of like unique field of his own.
Yeah, I agree.
The wings, is the wings thing, is that the number one reason why De'Aaron wanted out? Because, we talk about wings are the things, and the Kings still, they're still looking for more wings.
I think the number one thing was the Mike firing. Yeah. But yeah, it all factors in. The fact that you picked a guard every year in the draft, I don't think he loved necessarily. I mean, it's hard for that to not feel like you're drafting my eventual replacement. Yeah.
Sorry, Jay, I interrupted you.
No. I mean, it's a great question. I think it's a bona fide question that, our Sac Sports 1140 insider can answer. The thing with me for Domas, and maybe I'm valuing him a little too much more, but if you look around the league and you look at some of the past winners and the people who have gotten close to a championship or feel like they're missing a piece or two from the championship, you look at the Boston Celtics. I think if you asked everyone in Boston, they would say Kristaps Porzingis was the one that solidified us taking the championship. So as much as this is a 3-and-D and a point guard driven league, I don't even think it's a wing driven league. I think people look at the wings, and the wings aren't the best players in the league at the moment. And it sounds crazy to say, but this league is really guard driven.
But the good teams have, I see what you're saying,
yes,
but all the good
teams
have
good fitting wings.
Yes.
But they aren't necessarily the best player on their team.
Right. It's filling a role.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think we also assess the situation in the NBA as looking as, because 3-pointers are at a high level, that we look at this league and say, the wings are the things that make this league go. And when you really sit down and look at it, people who really win championships more or less kind of have a lead guard. They got one of the best guards more or less in the league. And so to me, Domas plays fantastic with a lead guard.
Right.
I think when you're looking at where he fits, you need a wing to fit with him more or less than him fitting with a wing. And that's what I think more teams are going to look at and say, look at Kristaps Porzingis. And I'm not saying, Domas is not as athletic. I think he passes better. I think his shot percentage-wise shows that he can shoot the 3-pointer if you put him out there beyond the arc. I just really think that Domas kind of gets just what you're saying, Brendan, is he is definitely special and he is one of one. But I think if you really start to dangle him out there, there's going to be some teams that probably catch you by surprise. Like, I think he'll work here.
I hope you're right. I'd be skeptical. No, maybe you're 100% right.
I think so too. I mean, like I was surprised to hear the OKC thing last offseason. That's a team that you wouldn't really think if I was trying to sit there and just formulate my guesses, I never would have thought that, So for sure. There will be teams out. He's a great player. Like, do not get me wrong. I'm not trying to take away from that at all. I think it's just a unique fit that will maybe turn some teams away, but there 1000% will be a market. I mean, he's paid what he's paid for a reason. He's extremely good at what he does.
Great rebounder. If you're Doug Christie, Coach Christie, or you're on a staff and you're just spitballing here, like, wow, they lost to the Wizards. Bad stuff. Let's just brainstorm. What could we do differently? Is there anything realistically? Like, I don't know if this is realistic, but play Doug McDermott more because we're not making enough threes. I mean, is there anything with this roster realistically that you could try?
I don't really know.
There may
my
not be,
biggest
I
thing
know.
is I think they need to play fast. Again, the defense is what it is. I think their offense is at their best. When Levine has his best games, I think it's because they're playing with pace. I think figuring out who's going to be your first sub is one of the main things I look at. Is that, now that Malik's moved to the bench, that's changed a little bit. Sometimes Keon's the first one to come out, but a lot of times it's one of Zach or DeMar. And I think the first sub matters is because that guy is coming back in to run the second unit. And so how do you want that unit to play? Who's going to be the lead guy there? Like, we're talking about too many cooks in the kitchen sort of thing, or at least that's where I'm at with a lot of this. Then that simplifies it in that secondary role. I think that's something that you could try to figure out more consistently, but I understand why Doug is trying things obviously right now. Biggest thing for me though is playing with pace. And I think that obviously getting stops factors into that a lot, but even doing it after makes, like, get the ball in quickly and run up the court into your action. Cause we've heard them break the shot clock down into 3 separate 8-second increments. And I think when you get close to that last 8 seconds, that it's really more like 10 to 12 because those last 4, it's like, all right, who can we just get to the ball to here? So I think that pace is the biggest thing for them.
If Doug Christie came to you, if Coach Christie came to you and asked, hey, what do you think? What should we try? What adjustments do you think the Kings could even consider right now? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Brendan's in with us today. It's The Drive, guys, on Sacktown Sports.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Well, our old heater collapsed with a heavy sigh right around Christmas, and it was very cold. We needed a new one in the worst way, but there are so many HVAC companies out there. How to choose. A friend recommended we check out Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating at leesair.com, and I'm glad that we did. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating was ready to come out the day we called. They treated us with respect, from the person who answered the phone to the guys who installed our new HVAC unit. So it comes down to this. Why choose Lee's? They offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. They got 4.8 stars on Google. I just left a 5-star review myself. So yeah, lots of people recommend them. They've won awards with their service, and they've spent more than 40 years serving the Valley's HVAC, heating, and plumbing needs. They've been around longer than Brendan Nunes. You can trust Lee's with installation and repair of your AC, furnace, and water heater, plus residential and commercial plumbing repair and commercial HVAC services too. Find out more at leesair.com. Check out their mission statement, which is all about serving customers and community, and check on their $99 HVAC tune-up service. Let Lee's take care of you the way they took care of me, treating us like family while setting us up with an HVAC system that has improved our quality of life. Lee's Air, Plumbing, and Heating, license number 635-355.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Get it? With the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting sacktownsports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
At SMUD, we power local business with incentives on clean energy equipment, tools to manage electricity usage and save money, tailored solutions from dedicated strategic account advisors, and 50% lower rates than neighboring utilities, all while doing more for the planet with clean energy solutions, savings, reliability, personalized service, clean energy, helping local businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Brendan Nunes helping us out today. Drape's back with us on Monday. So it's Jay and White Drive Guys here. We're just throwing around some ideas here on, if you're spitballing, if you're on the coaching staff, is there anything differently you can try? Can you shake things up at all? It's a difficult situation because you're also trying to see, what works, and you got to give guys time on the floor together to see whether they gel. I think we're to a point now where we know certain things are not gelling after that loss last night. So what do? Brendan suggested they probably should play at pace more, which I agree with. But then, of course, that puts you at odds with what DeMar does best. Campio says, I really don't understand pace in this era. Does it mean to put up shots in 8 seconds? Does it mean to score at the team's pace to get a good shot? What does it mean to you, Brendan, when you say they got to play pace?
I'd say getting into your actions pretty quickly. It's not starting your action with like 16 seconds left on the shot clock. I think just trying to keep the defense on their toes, not allowing them to get comfortable. We saw Washington pull out that 2-3 zone. If they don't have time to fall back into that, then they don't. That adds to their complications. So I think it's less of, I think it's more about trying to make the defense uncomfortable and trying to not allow them to just settle in, essentially. So I would say more than anything, it's just getting into your actions quickly. It's the pace of how you are bringing the ball up the floor more than anything. It's not walking into your sets.
Obviously, you get out and run when you can, get easy baskets. Everyone does that. But also in the half court, making decisions with the basketball quickly.
Right. 0.5 offense was one of Mike Brown's staples, making decisions in 0.5 seconds. Am I going to pass? Am I going to drive? Am I going to cut? What's going to happen here? So, yes, great point. I think half-court pace is a big part of this as well. It's one of the things I thought Kevin Huerter was great at. He's constantly sprinting through actions in the half-court as well.
What about you, Coach Jay?
The two that pop into my mind are kind of, I guess they would be in the resultant answer what Brendan is kind of talking about. And I know this is, look, right now, we're in dire times. We're looking for drastic changes, and so this is drastic. I might start Markelle Fultz.
Wow.
I might go Fultz in the fact of I think he's lacking confidence right now. I think if you give him the starting role, you speak to him, all I need you to do is run this team offensively, play with better pace, give me better perimeter defense, everything that I think he is capable of doing. And then it also answers the questions that Brendan has, which is if you're power punching and you're bringing Malik Monk and Keon Ellis off the bench with JV, and depending on where LaRavia comes, and of course we had an update on Devin Carter, who's day-to-day with a shoulder contusion today. You can just go to X and watch any Sacramento Kings insider like our guy, Sac Sports 1140, Brendan Nunes here.
There actually is no other insider like Brendan.
Well, that is true. There is no one like that. So, well, he's not like you. Everybody's different, right? And so there's no slight. And the other thing is you don't click over during interviews.
Hey guys, I'm getting called.
Right.
But I think if you come with Markelle Fultz, you answer a few conundrums that this team is facing. That's the first part. And then the other part of it is too, if you are even talking about having a conversation with DeMontis, or DeMontis is asking you to have a conversation, I'll probably go to him and say, you know what, man, the last week and a half, everything rolls through you. And that's why I say you kind of go hand in hand with Markelle Fultz. And maybe if not, Malik Monk, you better go to conversation and say, you know, everything is getting ready to run through Domantas Sabonis. This is your team for the week and a half. And maybe we should have did this earlier, Domantas, but guess what? Better late than never.
Yeah.
Offense runs through you for the week and a half.
Got you. I would just sit down with Zach, and they probably have done this already, but just how can we get you? Where do you want the ball? How can we set you up? I would really focus on trying to get him going, and I would run some Steph Curry stuff off the ball. I know he likes to be on ball, but we'll get you the ball, but we're going to run you off screen so you're in a better position when you get the ball. Catch and shoot or play make from there. And I'm sure they've thought of that. It's not something that is ingenious or anything, but I definitely would focus on that. Like, Zach, what can we do for you? It's a struggle. We know that. Yeah, that's on us. What can we do to put you in better positions to score?
I think a lot of it for Zach specifically in my mind is getting him downhill. Like some of the big games that he's had for this Kings team. Yes, he's had that Charlotte game where he was just totally on fire from three. There's a couple games. I want to say he had almost a 40 ball where he made like 2 threes. Like getting him downhill, he's a great finisher at the rim.
Portland game.
Yes, thank you. Yes. He's a great finisher around the rim. And I think getting him downhill, which is why I say the pace thing, but that goes in the half court too. And I think to Jay's point, I very much agree with run this through Domas, because right now I don't feel like there's an identity for this team. And previously the identity really was Domas. It was that we are running everything through him. We have this free flowing offense. We're a DHO heavy team. That is Domas. And so I agree with that. I think that makes a lot of sense. That may be a learning process for Zach, but that might still be the case next year. So figure it out right now, best you can.
Let's talk to Jeremy, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Jeremy spoke in class today. How are you, Jeremy?
Hey, good. How are you guys?
Good. What do you got?
Hey, so I was going to say what Jay said about, you got to run the offense through Domas. His superpower as a big man is distributing, setting picks, dribble, drive, handoff, whatever. I think Zach can do that. The problem is DeMar is not doing that, no matter what, and we're not going to sit a guy that's a Hall of Famer on the bench. But when the ball stops with DeMar, and it's not going to happen to where he's going to come off pick. So, I mean, if you really wanted to make a change, DeMar comes off the bench, and that's the one that he just can do whatever on it off the bench, score, all ISO, everything like that. But it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. That may be a good idea, it may not, but there's no way it's going to happen, as Jeremy said.
I tend to think the same. I mean, there's a lot of politics in all of this. Unfortunately, it's just kind of the reality. And the other side of the issue of, to Jeremy's point, that if you do lean into Domas, you might lose other guys in the process. And that's something that you got to try to figure out and balance here, because I very much understand what he's saying. And it's not fully on DeMar necessarily. I know that's not what he's saying. It goes in a lot of different directions of where you want to place what is happening necessarily and the stagnation that happens with this offense. But yeah, I definitely see the logic. I just think the other side is that you're probably going to lose some other players in the process.
Brendan, what did you think of the suggestions? I wouldn't really say it was reporting because it wasn't very well sourced, but suggestions that Mike Brown had asked DeMar DeRozan to come off the bench.
I don't really know. I haven't gotten a great feel on all that. I would say that it wouldn't surprise me if that happened necessarily, but that doesn't mean that Mike was like, hey, this is what we have to do. In my mind, it's just it's a conversation. It's, hey, DeMar, I'm kind of thinking this maybe is a thing. What's your thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that conversation happened, but DeMar never denied it. And I feel like he would have denied it if it never took place.
Interesting.
So I'm kind of assuming it did, but I don't really know any better.
Interesting. Cause I've talked to people who said, that might be a good idea. And I've talked to people who say that you can't, they get angry.
Right.
You can't do that.
He's top 25 all time in scoring.
Yeah.
Or right around there.
Ken on Sacktown Sports. Hey, Ken, what's up? What can we do for you?
Hey, what do you do, gentlemen? How you doing this afternoon?
Good.
Well.
What's up?
Hey, I respect everything you guys said. It's one thing, though. You can make all the changes you want. For the Kings, I need one thing. I need you to play consistent, hard basketball for the first, second, and third, fourth quarter especially. And I need you to get your mentals right. We are in every game. We are balling out. You're talking about these changes, and these changes don't make a difference if your mentals is not right. The changes don't make a difference if you don't play the whole game. Every game we've lost, we were winning these games. We were in control of the games, but our mentality, we fell off like a bike chain. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on, but we need to play hard for 4 quarters. I don't care how many changes. I don't care what player you put in there, but you need to play hard and have the same mentality that you had for the first, second, and third quarter. And last night, my mentality for my favorite E40 song, I'm sorry. I'm hoping you win. I want you to win, but I hope you lose. That's the way I felt last night.
Yeah.
Bad. I felt that like that bad. I felt like last night. But fellas, I love y'all, and I'm out.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah,
Appreciate
that. I agree with you. My thinking is maybe if you make some kind of changes that put people in positions where they're more comfortable, they start playing with a less tentative brand of basketball and start playing more aggressively. I agree with you. You have to play with more force.
Let me say this. I'm going to say this very, I don't know, say I'm going to make sure I walk the fine line in some of this. Is this.
Put your boots on and bring it.
There is, and this is, and I'm speaking for the King's Kingdom, the fans. It's tough to ask a fan to watch a game, be optimistic, and then have to analyze that you aren't, some people say not playing hard. Ken just said not playing consistent. Look like sometime you don't give a damn. Look like you might be counting the calendars on the day. I mean, the days on the calendar. It's tough for fans to look at that and be optimistic in the form of, and then listen to players and say, we just got to come out with a little more aggressiveness. We got to come out with a little more, pep in our step, where it's like, this is what you're getting paid to do.
You're absolutely right, Jay. I don't think
tough.
Kings fans don't ask for a lot. We hear them here. Fans complain because that's what all fans do. I don't think Kings fans ask for a lot. They do ask for a bare minimum of you're giving a good effort. And right now, of late, the Kings aren't even meeting that low standard consistently. And as a fan, that is tough to watch and tough to swallow.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, it's hard to not be frustrated. As somebody gets paid to cover the team, it's not the most enjoyable to watch these guys right now. Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Wow. Does Frankie get paid?
It's not a very enjoyable experience. I don't know. Frankie gets paid all right. All right.
Don't be counting people's pockets on the drive, guys. Right. We don't do that here.
Yeah, Frankie's doing all right. Frankie Jr. and himself are doing all right, so. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough viewing experience, and I do feel for the fans. Like I mentioned earlier, I think Chris Watkins has a great point. Like, usually you have something to watch for right now. You have some silver lining of, I would love to see, I mean, even Devin Carter going down really hurts the viewing experience in my mind, because there's so much of, that's where you can find a silver lining. To me, it's these young dudes, right? It's Keegan Murray. How can he continue to take steps? I feel like he's been aggressive and confident in his offensive game recently. Can Keon continue to develop? Can Devin Carter take a next step? These guys that you have team control over for a while, Keon being a little bit of an asterisk there in that aspect, but I think that would make the viewing experience so much better, and you're getting robbed of a little bit of that.
Speaking of Keon, how rare is that flopping call that went against him last night? We're back with that. We got Brendan hanging out with us for one more segment. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
Play and win to take your loyalty to new heights at Sky River Casino. Join Sky River Rewards today for a chance to receive up to $2,500 in free play. Plus, you'll be in the know about upcoming special events and offers. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun with rewards that add up and up. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit us to see how. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Zach Geloff underwent surgery to repair his right hand, and he's likely to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Second base duties will be a battle between Max Schumann and Max Muncy. Brady Basso and his left shoulder strain continues to go through a throwing program, and the A's are hopeful that he can begin pitching in minor league games shortly after the start of the regular season. On the court, Malik Monk makes his return from illness as the Kings push to make the play-in. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hi, I'm Alan Stiles. Injured at work? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they've won over $500 million in settlements. Downtown LA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call Downtown. Text Injury Help to 40222. That's Injury Help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Your old HVAC system could be costing you a fortune in energy bills and repair bills. Right now, Sierra Pacific is offering deep discounts, saving homeowners thousands of dollars. Savings that won't be available later this year. But you must act fast. We have to fill openings in our schedule next week. This limited time offer is only available if you book your installation for next week. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Sierra Pacific and lock in your savings today.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Earlier, we played a little bit of the G-Man's wrap-up last night, and it was a little depressing. He was very professional, of course, but you could hear in his voice a disappointment over that loss. We have Brendan Nunes in today helping us out with Drapes out until, I think Drapes back on Monday. But I also heard this morning going through things and getting ready for the show, a radio call, actually I think it was a TV call, pardon me, that might be a little more depressing than the G-Man's call. And that was the Braves call of Ohtani's walk-off home run. That was, and maybe we'll get to that, but that was, the Braves have lost now their first 7 games.
Jose's struggling out there.
Yeah, our boss
PD
Jose. Yeah. Jay, what do you think of this? There's a guy here who is a Dodger fan, and
that dude already is off.
Yeah, he's off.
Jose, our boss, is a Braves fan.
Yeah.
Jose says after the series ended and the Dodgers swept, that the guy who's a Dodger fan just left like a broom in Jose's office.
Dang. That's cold, but I love it. I'm all about it. Shouts out. I was getting ready to talk bad about that Dodger fan, but shouts out to that Dodger fan pumping up the office like that.
Absolutely. We could use a little more.
Yeah, we absolutely could.
Yeah. So last night, the Braves, they had won a game. This may be even harder than what Kings fans are going through. Maybe not, but maybe.
It's beginning of the season.
Yeah, that's true too.
7 games in.
Yeah. The Braves hadn't won a game yet. They're leading 5-3, I think, in the 8th, and then the Dodgers tie it. Max Muncy with a double. And then the 9th inning is tied, and I'm on my phone and I have the game on, and they say, here's Shohei Ohtani. And I'm like, oh, I'll have to watch this.
On his bobblehead night.
Yes. Here's Ohtani. Before I even put the phone down, there's a drive. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Hey, I love it, though. I think that as much as I hate the Dodgers, I got a Giants hat on right now. It is always screw the Dodgers. Shohei's great for baseball, man. And that, you kind of feel like it's going to happen when he walks up, and the energy behind it. I think it's a blast, to be honest. As much as I want the Dodgers to lose.
Yeah, and it's taken. This is going to sound completely horrible because I'm a baseball guy. It has taken me a little while to come around on Shohei. Like, Shohei is definitely separating himself very early in his career. That I didn't think this was going to happen, but I mean, it's inevitable right now. Yeah. He is a star.
Yeah,
he is the face of baseball.
You have to remind yourself, oh yeah, he's a pitcher too.
Yeah.
He's just been hurt.
Right.
We'll
he's
see.
a really good pitcher.
We'll see.
if he does that this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
He was a good pitcher.
We'll see.
Great pitch.
Kind of disruptive to a rotation because my understanding is some days it'd be his turn and he would say, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. But anyway, phenomenal. Never been anybody like him as far as we can remember. Anyway, how about that flop call that went against Keon last night? That's really rare, isn't it?
Extremely rare.
Today's NBA.
It should be called more often, to be honest. The flopping action itself is not very rare. It's the call that is rare. So, yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to make of it. Like the circumstance of what specifically made it where that instance was going to be called. I think not that it wasn't warranted in that situation, but I think there are plenty of other circumstances where it is as well. And it is just more often than not called like that. It's extremely rare to see that called at all.
John Hollinger just recently wrote a piece about flopping in the NBA. So they call flops during the game, and sometimes after the fact, they will fine people. They'll go back and go, oh, that wasn't a foul call, but you're going to get fined. Through early March, only 5 fines had been issued for the flop. Technicals were way up early last season. The officials were establishing this is what we're going to call. Then they fell way off. And the NBA feels that there's less flopping and they feel like the players are cooperating. And so they're focusing on the most egregious flops. I don't know if that was one of them, but the way they determine whether it's a flop or not is that STEM thing, which is also what they use when they're looking at fouls, secondary theatrical exaggerated movements. And if an official sees that, it's like, oh, that's a flop. And I was kind of curious to call a flop. It was really just a play on.
It was. I would agree. I mean, I think their terminology that officials use a lot is like the A to B movement, right? And did something cause you to move from A to B, or were you just, to your point, theatrical and the STEM wording of all that? And apparently they determined that Keon was in that moment. And I don't think it's to the point where he'll get fined or anything like that. I mean, there's egregious flops that you could think back to plenty of times. I guess you have good memory of them getting blown out in 90 whatever.
91, 101, 59.
I admittedly grew up a Celtics guy. I think back to like Marcus Smart flailing like a fish out of water when he got pushed. I want to say they're in Chicago or Washington, one of the two. There's egregious flops every night in the NBA, and I thought that was one of the more tame ones that Keon got called for.
I think also part of it should be whether there's any danger of the official being fooled by it.
Right.
It's like, oh, I see what you're trying to do there. That was just, like I said, it's like, yeah, whatever. That's a play on.
You know what? I don't know if I've seen an offensive flop called. I feel like a lot of times it's defensive. Maybe there has been. I can't say that I've seen every flopping call that's been called throughout the course of this year, but I honestly feel like there's more flopping from offensive players than defensive, and it's more focused, though. I feel like the conversation on the defensive side of the ball.
I remember one of my daughters was at a basketball camp, and she said, oh, tomorrow they're going to show us how to flop. And I was like, you're not going to that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you? Hey, it was
anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was.
There's a lot of jokes there. Is that SGA's camp? Like, what do we?
Yeah.
Who, by the way, gets an unfair shake for his foul baiting conversation. But
how so?
Is what it is. I don't think he's as extreme as. It's become just part of his conversation in my mind, and I don't think he's as extreme as some of these other guys in the league. OKC's free throw differential is actually towards the bottom of the league, if not the worst in the league from last time I had checked. So I just think that we can appreciate his greatness without mentioning the foul bait. Like, there's a reason he gets to the line, and it's because he drives more than anybody. He's like this slithery, creative finisher. And you're going to get to the line when you do that.
I have to double check, but I think Lou Dort's name might have popped up in that piece a couple times. Lou Dort's a great defender.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely would make sense. So I don't know. I think that team's really good. And, we don't got to spend too much time on OKC, but they're potentially going to have the best point differential of all time. And I feel like it's just crazy that we're talking about, oh, these other teams might take it. I get it. They haven't been there, haven't done it. They're really, really good.
Then Brendan, OKC is ripe for the plucking come first round, right?
They are, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Someone to take advantage of. They don't have the experience, and the Kings are rolling right now, Whitey. So you never know.
There's that. Remember how we were
certain
all saying,
direction.
Yes,
they don't got to play the Wizards in the playoffs.
we were saying for so long, this West, it's just so densely packed. Anybody could win it. And the Thunder are up 14.5 games.
14.5? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They've been dominant all year. I think they finished their Eastern Conference schedule. They lost one game to the Eastern Conference this year. 29-1, I believe is what I saw. And, hey, that probably says something about the Eastern Conference too. Don't get me wrong, but OKC is ridiculously good, and they're set up to do this for a long time.
29-7 on the road.
This is also the team that everybody was crapping on when they were tanking and when they traded for Al Horford, but never had him join the team. And everybody was like, oh my God, this is such an embarrassment to the league. Now look at him.
I see. That's your subtle way of saying.
Just saying.
That's your subtle, not so subtle way of saying.
Just saying.
Things need to get the tank out next year, huh?
I think, I've thought about Pokuševski more than I should have these last few years. And while I did like Poku, and I was clearly wrong on that, part of my take Poku thing was embracing being bad for a sec. And it's more so embracing the younger talent, right? And, it's the same way that, yes, it's easy to say in the taking conversation now that, that would take years. If you did it years ago, we'd feel a lot better right now, but it is what it is. This is our reality.
The other team that stands out to me is a team that really has benefited from the tanking. There are a lot of teams, but a team that stands out now is a team that OKC beat last night, Detroit Pistons.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have asked going into last year, would you rather be the Pistons or the Kings? Almost everybody, I think, would have said the Kings.
Yeah.
And now things change very quickly in the NBA. And honestly, if you really went down and did that exercise, would you rather be the Utah Jazz than the Kings? Would you rather be the Washington Wizards than the Kings?
That's one of Jay's favorite exercises.
Unfortunately, there's not many teams where I think you would rather be the Kings.
Well, you mentioned Utah. Would you rather be Utah or the Kings?
I'd rather be Utah for sure.
Really?
No question in my mind. They don't have like all these things that are tying them down in my mind. They got a solid player in Lauri Markkanen. You could do whatever you want with that in the offseason, but like they have the thing for me is they have a direction. You know what the logic is right now. And I personally just don't really see it with the Kings. Again, I think they're going to try to triple down, remain competitive. But to me, like I see the vision with Utah and I struggle to.
Which is what? Take as many shots at the board?
Yes, 100%. 100%. It's being bad until you actually get your centerpiece and then building from there. But I think that centerpiece is the most important part of the team building.
Danny did that in Boston. I mean, in all fairness, he did do it there.
I think that's the most important part of the team. The Detroit example, Cade Cunningham is the reason that's happening.
Of course.
Like, there's all the complementary pieces for sure that factor in. They went and got a bunch of vets this offseason. They did a lot this offseason. But Cade is the piece that made that work. And the Kings' path to finding their Cade is a lot more clouded than Utah's.
If what you say is true, the Kings don't have that guy now, do they? So it's going to be tough to get him.
Right. Yeah, I think that's my main point, really, is that,
unless Domas is that centerpiece.
I don't think so. And we don't know if he wants to be here this offseason. So it's hard to pitch him as that. I think that, yes, like in a vacuum, Domas is the dude. And there is a lot of talent there. We talked about it earlier. He's below that, like, extreme top tier, where, to be fair, those two dudes, Jokic and B, we're talking about, those are MVP caliber dudes. You're not talking down on Domas for saying he's not an MVP. You know what I mean? So right now, yes, he's that dude, but I don't think he's good enough to be a number one on a championship team, which I don't think is a hot take. There's like 8 dudes in the league that really are, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's hard to come by, but yeah, unfortunately, Utah, Washington, I think those teams have I see the timeline in the vision. And even if it's not the most enjoyable one right now, I personally, last night's game, would you rather have been well, maybe it's a bad example because obviously Washington came away as a win. It's an easy question. You'd rather be a Wizards fan in that game. But I think from a viewing experience, no matter the outcome of that, it's a lot more enjoyable to be hyped about AJ Johnson, and like, oh, Alex Sarr was really balling. Like, we got something going next year. And then Kings fans are having to sit there being like, gosh, what is this going to look like?
Look at this, Jay. Brenda's been nice enough to join us for 2 hours. Just as he's about to get out, he starts firing torpedoes.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not a SAR guy. I don't really see it in that, but he'll have to prove me wrong. But I love AJ Johnson. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think you have more, opportunities at the dartboard.
Yeah.
And that's what Danny Ainge and Utah definitely have. I'm not as familiar with Washington's, current setup, but be interesting. I think they have a couple of guys over there they need to make a decision on as quick as possible as well, though they are younger than DeMar and Zach and Domas. I hear you with that.
The scary thing to me, Brendan, and I know we got to go now. I apologize, Jay. I know we're a little late. When the Pacers traded Domas to the Kings for Halliburton, Pacers had been a team like first round and out like 4 years in a row, and they decided we don't want to be that.
Right.
And the Kings were like, we would love to be in the playoffs. They finally were. And so then the Kings later make the trades with the Bulls, a team that had also been like, first round, play in, every year, but we're stuck. And the Kings like, bring that on.
Right.
And now the Kings of the team's like, wow, we're stuck in the middle. What do we do about it?
100%.
It's not a good place to be.
Yeah, I think that's the reality of, unfortunately, where they're at. And listen, like, there's still a world where they save this offseason. We mentioned they have talent on this roster. It's just about making it fit and optimizing all of it. And I think they're going to take a big swing this offseason and try to save it. And there is very much a world where that goes good because they have talent.
Thank you very much for coming in.
No problem.
Yeah, when we come back, how the Kings Get Right game turned into a What's Wrong game next on Sacktown Sports.
We may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, reminding you that every deal at Folsom Lake Ford is a slam dunk. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, including America's best-selling truck for over 47 years, Ford F-Series, plus a huge selection of Broncos, Bronco Sports, and all of Ford's award-winning SUVs at FolsomLakeFord.com. Listen, I know a great play when I see one, and if you want to save on a new Ford, you gotta drive the lane straight to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with zero down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest financing, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. So hurry to Folsom Lake Ford, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they're my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop them online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
I love this time of year when the azaleas begin to bloom and the singing birds' sweet dawn chorus remind us that blue skies and sunshine are at hand. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. In sports, the definition for the word master is one who's achieved a high degree of skill, and that will be on display in the highly anticipated golf tournament. In the furniture business, a master is a highly skilled craftsman, an artist even, whose work is coveted by those who appreciate design, quality and durability. John Keys was the mastermind of Naturewood Home Furnishings. He knew that you wanted your home to reflect your personal style, whether that was a plain coffee table or a masterpiece for you to enjoy forever. That's why when you walk into Naturewood Home Furnishings, you'll find the largest and best selection of the highest quality home furnishings in Northern California. Masterful. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
What's going on, world? It's your boy Kevin Hart with some exciting news. I am coming to a city near you. My new tour is called Acting My Age, and I want to see you there. Come out, have a good night, a good time. It's all new material in a much, much more intimate setting. Go get your tickets and head to KevinHartNation.com now.
Comedy superstar Kevin Hart brings his new tour, Acting My Age, to the venue at Thunder Valley on Saturday, April 26th. Tickets on sale now at ThunderValleyResort.com and KevinHartNation.com.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's The Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Hey, Kevin Hart coming to town? Let's get him on the show, Jay. Although I think I might be the only one on the show that would want Kevin Hart on the show. Big Kevin Hart fan. We're all big Kings fans. Last night, the Kings taking on the lowly Wizards. Easy win, right? For the second year in a row, the Wizards sending the Kings back to their hotel rooms, tails tucked between their legs. Wizards 116, Kings 111. So, hey, what happened? How did the Kings get right game turn into a what's wrong game? Once again, the Kings just came out looking like they were tentative. They did not play with intensity. Jay and I talked about this earlier. I'm sure if you care about it, you've been thinking about it, talking about it with your friends, neighbors, loved ones. It doesn't appear to us, and I don't mean to speak for you, Jay, but it doesn't appear to us that the Kings are not trying, that they've given up on their coach, or they just don't care. They just seem so tentative and are playing with so little confidence that they seem to be in almost a hurry to get this season over with.
Yeah, I think you are speaking for me. Must be in my mind there, Whitey.
All right.
What'd you go to school for, sir?
Yeah. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Said it right. Exactly. I knew you knew you. Yeah, I'm with you. I think you said it as good as I can say it.
And I'm not, excuse me, Jay, but I want to make sure people know I'm not making excuses for a lack of effort. If it looked to me like they just done quit,
right,
they would say that. Yeah. I've seen that before. I've seen it from Sacramento Kings teams, but that's not what I'm seeing.
No. I think it's more or less, let's get this over so we can be done with it, more or less than like, yeah, I'm not playing for nobody else on my team. I'm not playing for the coaching staff. I'm not playing for the organization. If there are different instances of, wanting something to be over. And so I'm with you. I think they're looking at their sights are set on the end of the season to get through this so they can see what's coming up next. There's so many questions more than answers for this team and organization. I mean, to be honest, I would imagine if anyone was in that situation, you would definitely be wanting to know, what the future holds for probably personally, but also for the team and organization wise.
Yeah, a lot of uncertainty. The reckoning is coming this offseason. 3-3
allegedly.
I think so.
You think it is?
I feel it. I don't know what it is, but I feel it.
Do you truly believe the Sacramento Kings will put their foot in the ground? And I think this has been part of the issue for Kings fans. And Brendan talked about it. The direction of this team. Do you believe the organization is really going to put their foot in the sand and say, we're going to be, this is our identity. We're going to be a defensive led squad. And this is how we're attacking,
I think there are going to be significant changes. And I think
top to bottom.
Possibly.
Okay.
And I think a new direction will be stated one way or the other. But of course, the issue with this franchise is whatever that direction is, do they stick with it? When the path gets bumpy, do they stick with it? and we'll see. It's easy to say, this is what we're doing. We saw it a couple of years ago when you had a new GM and a new coach and everything came together. And then, less than 2 years later, things got bumpy and it's like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. So will they establish a new direction? I think they will. Will they stay with that when that path gets bumpy? Fingers crossed. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to Jen here on Sacktown Sports. Jen, thanks for hanging. What's up?
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
What I don't understand is if the Kings know that we're in the play-in picture, why are they purposely not trying? Is there something going on behind the scenes that we don't know? I mean, they should be excited that we're in the play-in picture.
Mm-hmm.
And and with every game that the Suns lose and we lose, there'll still be a chance that we still could be in the play-in. And then what are the Kings going to say? Oh, now we're in 10th place. Oh, darn, how did we get here?
Yeah, Jen, I understand your question. Jay and I think, agree on this. I don't think they're not trying. I just think they're so confused and so out of sync and such a bad fit roster-wise that things are not going well, and it's going so poorly at times that it looks like they're not trying. That's my opinion, Jay. And again, I'm not making excuses for a lack of effort because that's not excusable. But I don't think they're quitting. I just think it's not working. At times, it's going so badly that it looks like, wow, they're just not bringing any intensity because they're so tentative.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, Whitey. I truly do. I think they're so confused that they don't even know how to get out of the position they're in.
When we were in Stockton, and we were watching the G League, and I know it's a different animal. G League guys are like, they're just hanging on by their fingernails. But when they were running, like dribble drive motion, they ran it crisply. Remember, we were sitting there going, man, these guys play hard.
Yeah, they're playing definitely hard and fast.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a faster game than I'd ever seen.
And the Kings, when they get into their, dribble handoff, it doesn't have that crispness. It doesn't have that same electricity, I think, because it's just everyone's a little more tentative with everything they're doing.
Yeah, and you've kind of seen this since the beginning of the trade deadline. Zach kind of coming over here, JV coming over here, Jake coming this way. It's one of those things that's hot potato a lot of times. You take it, I take it, you take it, your turn, my turn, our turn. When is it our turn versus your turn versus my turn? And so I truly do believe it. I think you spot on with that. I'm not sure they know how to play with each other, and not knowing how to play with each other. It's easy to go out there and say, I'm guilty of it too. I go watch basketball games, high school level. I haven't been to a college game this year, but I look at that. It's like, man, it's basketball. It's not that hard. It's pretty simple. Just go out and hoop, right? How many times do you find yourself saying that? And then when you really start to break down the X's and O's and you talk to coaches, I was just sitting down with one of my head coaches, one of my good friends who's a head coach over at Christian Brothers High, who won the section for men. And we were having this conversation last night and just diving into some of the things that he was talking about as a coach, as we were sitting here watching the Kings game, as we were watching, I believe it was OKC and Detroit after that, where we were watching the game.
That's right.
It literally, some of the things that he was seeing through a coach's eye, I was like, man, I don't care about that. I'm get out there and hoop. Cade Cunningham, Shea Gilders, J-Dub. I just want to see the hoop. But when you really break it down, it's not that simple, especially on a professional level. When you have egos, when you have guys who are making money, big time money, when you have a hierarchy, a pecking order, so to say, when you have some, as you said, uncertainty, there's certain things that professionally these guys go through that you don't necessarily see when it comes down to some of the amateur levels. And so I just don't know what is going on with this team. And I think we find ourselves saying that more times than not. So to me, if we don't know, I know they don't know.
Yeah, I know it looks like they're not trying. In a way, sometimes it's almost as if they're trying too hard instead of just playing. You know what I mean? They're not bringing it. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying they're bringing the necessary intensity. They're not, but it's almost like they're working too hard just to make the simplest passes, which are getting intercepted because they're just so out of sync and out of whack, and there's no flow. How about KD on Sacktown Sports? Hey, KD, what's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing? So, look, let me kind of break it down here a little bit for you.
You got two guys on the team making $40 million plus. Both of them playing like garbage. I don't care. I'm going to hurt some feelings out here. Sabonis has not played well since that De'Aaron Fox trade. Go look at his numbers. Look at his stats. And once again, I always hear on the shows when we're watching the game, double-doubles don't mean nothing when you're 6'10". Any of us 6'10" could go get 10 rebounds and 10 points. So I'm not impressed by that. But here's the reality. If any of us go into a pickup game, let's just take it. Let's be real for a minute, because most of the people listening to this call have never even played college ball. If you go play a game and you're playing with a team, and there's a guy on that team that never passes the ball, never moves the ball. The guy can shoot. He's got skills, but he doesn't pass the ball. It slows up the game. But you continue to win games, you're okay. You got chemistry. You stay on that squad. But when you got a guy that doesn't pass the ball and you're losing games, a.k.a. DeMar DeRozan, that's a problem. This team is not well put together. And Monty McClair, the owner's owner, he'd have to sell it, right? But Monty McClair, if he is there, I'm done. And I've been a Kings fan since 99. This team is what it is because it was positioned this way. When you fire a head coach, just think about it. You fire a head coach, you get rid of one of the best two-way players. All these people in Sacramento crying, oh, this, that, and oh, De'Aaron, he needs to go. Garbage. That's one of your best defensive players on the team. Then you have a trade for trade pieces that don't even fit what you're trying to do. And, oh, by the way, your defensive AK coordinator, who wasn't that good, goes to Florida State. Doug's left with this mess, and people come on the show and have the nerve to say, maybe Doug's at fault with some of this. No coach could handle this stuff. This is a mess, and they need to blow it up. I'm out. I just wanted to say that.
All right, Katie. I don't think you have to worry about Monty McClair because I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Monty McNair.
Monty
got
McNair.
you.
Yeah.
He might be fired up. I understand the passion.
I know.
It's part of the game, man.
Yeah. I just, you're gonna really lay the wood to people with your opinions. It helps if you know their names. But I get it. Thank you, Katie.
I will say this. I agree with them in the form of.
Domas is not garbage either.
Yeah, I don't agree with them when it comes to Domas. Now, I don't think he called him garbage. I think he said he's playing like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple instances to that in the form of, I think he was hurt. I know he was hurt. We know he was ill at one point in time. He came up off his, I want to say his deathbed, but came off the ill bed even in the beginning. If we go back to when Coach Mike Brown was fired, remember he was ill.
Yeah.
And so I take it for face value. I don't know what it is. We've seen some reports that may have said something different, but I just say Domas isn't trash. I agree with the instance of, and I think this is what Katie is saying. With everything being said, and as much as we come on here and say, hey, listen, this team is confused and this team, they can't play together. There is a hierarchy to this. And that is the point of sometimes, and this is what we talked about with Brendan, you just got to go out there and be a boss about yours. You got to be a dog about it. Mm-hmm. And there's no excuses to that. And I'm from that. I'm cut from that same cloth that Katie is talking about, but I also understand that everybody's not built like that. And so as much as Katie, I feel the passion, I feel the fire, I agree with him because I think we're cut from that same cloth. If you the boss, go be the boss. I ain't got time for you to be sitting around here waiting to pass balls. Now go give me 50. Go get a win. But it's not that easy. And so I also got to understand that, it's easier said than done when it comes to that too, Whitey. And that's why you kind of got to give them a little bit of opportunity there.
Yeah, as far as DeMar DeRozan and what KD said about DeMar DeRozan, this is too easy, but I'll point it out anyway. He did have 8 assists last night. They have been running the offense through him. So I get what you're saying. And DeMar DeRozan at times, he's always been, not at times, he's always been a ball stopper. That's the way he plays. So you have him on your roster. That's going to happen. That's what he does. The issue with me is that we see that happen down the stretch of games where the offense stagnates.
Yes.
And he had a really good fourth quarter last night, but it happens again and again and again. So if it happens one time or 2 times, you could say, man, he's got to adjust that. If it keeps happening, then, well, that's clearly what somebody wants him to do.
Right. Perception is reality. And I think that's what, me and Ramsey were having this conversation off air. I think that's spot on is your perception of how DeMar stops the ball is through your own eyes. But as Ramsey said, DeMar's got some good assist numbers.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes with the rest of this team. And I think that's where you're spot on. And I think that's where you hear Coach Christie talk about it. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from, Whitey, is they don't know how to not give him the ball and receive it back or shoot the damn ball.
Mm-hmm.
How about, Zach, you get the rock and do what you got to do?
Mm-hmm.
Domas, how about you do what you have to do?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that easy. And that's the frustration is, and that's what I started all this saying. And I think that's what KD is saying. Just go out there and hoop.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, simplify everything else. And we've heard that from Coach Christie numerous times. I want to simplify the offense. Let's just go play ball. And then when that doesn't work, then what happens, Whitey? Man, Coach Christie and the staff got to call plays. Then what happens? Coach Christie's like, I'm calling plays.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the same way. It's like it's a catch-22.
Yep.
It's not that simple.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. AC has been hanging on. AC, thanks for hanging. What's up?
Hey, in times like these, we need to remember the good times. So let's go back in the King's time machine. And back, there was a day we're talking about the Thunder being at the top of the charts with 60-plus win season. There was a time when the Kings were in that 60-win section and leading in the West. Those are good times, right?
Yes, they were.
Okay. So I think right now last night was horrendous. I thought I'd seen all the worst losses of the year. Last night was a clear example of really not trying or being completely gassed out from a trip. So a lot of it has to do with the schedule too. I get road trips are tough, but look at the Kings. They play a game and they fly to the furthest part of the United States and play Orlando. Right? On the next day. Would it really hurt anyone to skip a day, have them stay the night, get a practice in, and then play a team the next day? Would it really kill the NBA to do that? So if you guys ever get an NBA schedule maker on your show, I'd love to hear that interview. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. AC. That's a bold take. Go down to the NBA schedule.
Yeah. He's saying I ain't feeling it.
Yeah. The Kings have had a lot of back-to-backs lately. They got another doozy this Sunday and Monday. They just had that. I'm not making excuses, but they did just have that. I'm not saying, it's a schedule, but they did. It's a fact. That Boston OKC back-to-back, even though both were at home, that's a challenge. And then you got Cleveland, Detroit coming up.
Yeah, that's tough.
Beginning of the year is like,
a heck of a back-to-back.
That's not that hard. Cleveland's pretty good and Detroit's terrible. And now look at it, it's like, mommy.
it just, when you look at every single way, it's like, damn, we're in a tough situation right now as a Sacramento King. And a lot of it is self-inflicted wounds. You lost some games a la last night. You lost the Pacers game. There's definitely been some games where it's like, come on, close that, lock that down. But, unfortunately they haven't. And that's why I believe, to I guess, circle back to the beginning of the conversation. I truly believe this team is so confused and has no clue on what they're doing.
That's the sense I get.
Yeah, that they're just kind of all like, let's get to the end. It's one way or another. Let's just finish this thing, and then we can regroup. And whoever's here to regroup will be here to regroup. Then we'll all turn into professionals. We understand that some of the people that we're looking at and we're on the plane and having practice with every single day from the top to the bottom won't be here. But let's just get to the end. Let's continue to keep pushing towards April 13th.
Is this team as talented as we all say it is? Again, I know I mentioned this earlier when Brendan was in, because I just, when things go as sideways as they went last night, whether that happens, on the job or something, I like to go back and wow, I got to look at everything I assumed. Let's revisit that. So one of the things I decided to revisit is, okay, is this team as talented as we think it is? The talent is there. The fit is bad, but like you said last night, all right, you've got a veteran talented roster and you got a bunch of young guys, but the young guys played with so much more athleticism and energy.
They were just hooping.
And that carried the day.
They were just hooping, Whitey.
Yeah.
I think they've been told, and the writing's on the wall. Look, you ain't playing for nothing beside playing for your job. And we're just evaluating everybody that's here. We traded for A.J. Johnson. We got Jordan Poole, young gun. I think we know Sarr, of course, their high draft pick this past year. He's just out there trying to ball. You see Bub Carrington, who's a young gun at the same time.
Tristan Vukcevic.
Yeah. burying threes.
Yeah.
Where this team, a little longer in the tooth, got some veterans, a lot more money being spent. Yeah.
The one area where I'll say I don't think they're as
Freezing
talented
up
as we give them credit for. And you go back to after Beam Team 1 in that offseason, what do they need? They needed to improve the defense, as Mike Brown said, and I think they needed to be to improve their shooting. And their shooting was really good. Beam Team 1 year. Last year, the shooting was not very good. And this year, the shooting's not very good. So, wow, how can that be? They don't have enough good shooters on the team. And I thought Zach LaVine would really help with that. That's one thing about that is like, well, that makes sense. He's having a really efficient year. But other than that, I mean, they're 10 for 39. And that's not even a surprise anymore. To me, when they have those really bad nights from the three-point line, it's not like, well, how did that happen? That's weird. I'm more surprised when they have the big nights. They're not a very good shooting team.
Yeah, I without making excuses, I think confidence has a lot to do with that. I'll just put an example out there, Kevin Huerter. I think Kevin Huerter is a fantastic shooter. I think a lot of his confidence was stripped from him.
Have you seen his numbers since he's been starting?
I have, yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, they're decent, but I just think a lot of the confidence of this team, and it just goes back to the fact that they're all trying to figure it out. You can definitely see we just threw out a bunch of cards and everybody's trying to make it make sense. And I think that plays part of it. And I know, people don't want to hear that. Kings fans don't want to hear that. And that's why I don't really come to the table and say some of these things. I get it, but I do think there is a point to confidence in shooting. And at the same time, you might just not be blessed with that great of a shooting squad. You might be spot on with that too.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. When we come back, what the Kings need to learn from the rampaging Giant. Oh, we do have Anthony. Oh, all right. I'm sorry, Jay. I did not get that update.
Oh, man, what'd you do last night?
What did I do last night?
Yeah, I know you were watching the Kings game, but I figured you might have stepped away early and was like, I'm a prep.
Yeah. I did do a little prep last night, but I didn't. I'm delighted. Anthony Slater's going to be with us next. That's good news. Slate's next on Sacktown Sports.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Everyone has a past, but what happens if you've made mistakes and made good on that past, but it keeps following you? Are you looking for an attorney to erase past records and restore your rights? Maybe even restore your gun rights? Do you need a reputable criminal defense attorney who knows even good people make bad mistakes? Well, the attorneys at Gonzalez Law Office are here to help. Find Gonzalez Law Office online at sacklegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187. We don't settle for less, and neither should you.
49ers are on the clock. Don't miss Sacktown Sports coverage of the upcoming draft. Brought to you by Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge. No one covers pro football like Sacktown Sports, and there's no place better to enjoy it than with over 80 screens at Twin Peaks. And their ice-chilled 29-degree drafts at the 5 p.m. happy hour kickoff.
Catch all the action at Sky River Casino. Enjoy over 80 table games, more than 2,100 slot machines, and a thrilling high-limit room. Plus, with 18 elevated restaurants, bars, and lounge destinations, and Sky River rewards that add up and up. There's something for everyone. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun and experience new heights. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Listen for the Toyota Tahoe Report every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with Johnny Mosley to get the latest weather conditions in Tahoe throughout this snow season. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Visit SacktownSports.com and join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter.
At SMUD, we power local business with incentives on clean energy equipment, tools to manage electricity usage and save money, tailored solutions from dedicated strategic account advisors, and 50% lower rates than neighboring utilities, all while doing more for the planet with clean energy solutions, savings, reliability, personalized service, clean energy, helping local businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half, and if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me, and now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Get 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $29.99. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. When buying a new grill, every detail matters. For March, grab a $149 gift with purchase of every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill, including a pizza lover starter kit and much more. More March savings include up to $79 off Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium stainless steel that boasts quality. See how Napoleon will help you achieve the perfect grilling experience. Visit Green Acres Nursery today with your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Kyle Draper has a couple days off. He's going to be joining the team, I think in Cleveland. He'll be back with us on Monday. So it's Jay and Whitey. Want to thank Brendan Nunes for helping us out today, and thank you for being with us. This is not an easy day for Kings fans, obviously, after that loss last night. That's one thing I didn't think we'd be talking about today is, hey, what happened? How come the Kings fell to the Wizards? Here's somebody who can help us understand a little bit of what's going on. He'll be joining us in just a moment here from the Athletic. Anthony Slater and Jay's just setting him up here. And I'm wondering if some of the things swirling around the Kings, could they be affecting the play? And I'm not looking for excuses, just wondering what's up. Anthony Slater, how are you this afternoon?
I just told your co-host here, I'm on the way to Lakers Warriors.
Yeah, big one tonight. Nationally televised game. So, yeah, we're asking you to slum with us a little bit and talk about, the Kings and the Wizards. But
Slate's highfalutin tonight.
Yeah, yes, he is.
It was interesting. I'll tell you that. It's interesting what happened, regardless.
Yes. Yeah. What do you make of it? It looks like the team, they're not playing with a lot of energy, but to our eye, and I'm not making excuses, Anthony, it looks more like the Kings are just kind of confused and unsure and tentative than they are like, trying to sabotage the season.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sabotage is probably too strong, but I mean, like, that's a give up type performance, right? Like, the Wizards are not. I understand the Wizards players are trying to win, but the Wizards organizationally are not trying to win. They're not trying to put a product on the floor. Like, that was in a lot of ways a bad win for them, right? They got up to 17 wins. They got ahead of the Jazz. You've seen Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
But to me, like, and I know we'll probably get into this, but like, there are like jobs on the line and futures on the line in Sacramento, and you would think that would bring a level of thirst and urgency that would just, nothing schematically would matter. They would just outplay and out energize the Wizards, and for that not to happen in that game, it's concerning for sure.
Yes.
Slates, you've been around the game quite a while now, been one of the leading voices here in the NBA circles. Can you, speak to a team at the end who looks like they're just holding on and they're clawing to stay up on the mountain versus a team that seems to have kind of melded in? And I know you kind of spoke to it real quick. I think one of the conversations we've had today is this team just so confused they don't even know how to win versus have they melded in? What's your take on kind of like the differential between the two?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to kind of judge energy, but it's like some of it's the unknown and some of it's like guesswork a little bit. I do think they have flaws for sure, but, I think flaws show up when you can't beat decent teams or teams in your ballpark. Like, that wasn't a decent team or a team in your ballpark. That, to me, is the signal of a performance of maybe just the weight of the season getting to them. There so much has happened, right? You've had a coach firing, you've had a star getting traded, you've had lately, people leaving the franchise, fleeing a little bit, you could say. And to me, that just signaled like a team that was kind of ready to tap out. Again, we'll see. Like, there's still a very decent chance here with the Mavericks. The Mavericks have 2 games against the Clippers coming up, right? The Suns, I think next 4 are at Celtics, at Knicks, Warriors. Like there's a lot of losses, I think, coming up for the Mavs. And
OKC, I think, is the 4th with the next one with the Suns there.
Yeah, you're right. And the Suns. So if the Kings can just string together a few wins here, like, they can get a home play-in game, and you get in front of your home crowd, and like they did last year, right? That was the spot they were in last year. Maybe that can lift you up and give you a little spirit and try to edge into the playoffs and make a little something out of this end of the season. And, again, we could argue if that's good or bad long-term with the whole draft pick protection thing. But I think for this group, they've got to look at trying to get even a little ounce of positivity, because right now, if it ends this way, if they just fade out and either don't make the play-in or they're on the 10 side of the play-in, they go to Dallas and just get smoked by 20 or something like that, I think that's going to impact a lot of these guys' futures, including potentially, a head coach who I think a few weeks ago we figured would be the head coach next season.
Yeah. And Anthony Slater with us. And I know I've asked you that question about Doug a million times. And I think the first time I asked you was framed as far as, hey, well, he's going to be the coach, right? And you said, well, we'll see. So, yeah, we'll still some pizza left in the box, but last night didn't help. Do you think uncertainty over the coaching situation and the whole, who's going to be the GM and everything that happened with De'Aaron Fox kind of calling out the whole organization, could that have, I'm not making excuses, but could that have a negative impact and effect on the play of the team, or should they be able to compartmentalize that because they're professionals?
I mean, sure. I think it goes into the pot of everything in this season and just like kind of the verve and the spirit of the operation. And, you mentioned Wes Wilcox leaving. From what I heard, that surprised a lot of people. And that, I'm not saying that's the reason, Malik Monk misses a shot last night or there's a bad turnovers and stuff like that. But I do think, like I was saying earlier, just like the weight of everything that has happened, sure, maybe that just gets this situation to a point that, if they don't believe, if this core doesn't believe they're going on a run, let's say even they make the play in, like, I think it'd be understandable for them to be like, where are we really going? Not only this season, but beyond this season, then that, hey, maybe you just start thinking about, vacation, 10 days from now doesn't sound too bad.
Drawn by Anthony Slater of the Athletic Slates. Before I ask you about that game that you're going to tonight, get highfalutin, getting ready to go to the Warriors and the Lakers. One of the things that I think we've talked about, and you and Sam have talked about it eloquently over the this past season, is guys like Domantas Sabonis maybe getting ready to question the organization's future and the path. Are you still hearing guys like Domantas Sabonis and some of the big names here in the organization wanting to kind of get a direction, a path?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we're getting closer to that being a more on the table conversation. I think a lot of these guys can compartmentalize hey, look, off-season questions are for the off-season, especially if they believe, hey, there's a playoff run ahead. And, a lot of times these competitors, these NBA players, are almost delusional to the point of thinking, hey, we can still go on a run. But if they start to, lose that idea in their minds, they really start to think about the future. And to answer your question, yes, there's a lot of people within the Kings, and I'm not just talking about star players, but employees, and you've already seen it. There's people who have gone on to different jobs, and I think Sabonis will. But the other thing, and we can get into it, but those aren't going to be easy contracts to trade. And I'm not even saying that is or isn't going to happen, but
of course,
we can't act like that would be a simple process either. If he was just hey, maybe it should be elsewhere, that would be very difficult to do.
Yeah, well, let me follow up on that. We were talking with Brendan about this. And again, we don't know what's going to happen. And hopefully Domas wants to stay here for a long, long time. But if he and the team came to some kind of understanding, you know what, we're all better off if we look to move me, what kind of market do you think would be there for Domas this offseason?
I mean, I think there's teams that would certainly be interested in his skill set, but he has to go to a pretty select situation, right? Because he's a unique big that has to have kind of a unique setting around him. He almost has to play center. So, basically a team that doesn't have an established center. And then the contract. I don't know if you have it on the top of your mind, but how many years and dollars left are we talking at this point?
Yeah, I'll look it up here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's tough to move because it's tough to salary match, number one, and also a team has to be willing to add that much money and future money, and then they need to match it. And then you wonder what's number one, who's making the decisions for the Kings, right?
Yeah.
And number two, what's their priority? Is it with Fox, and this may ultimately be viewed as a mistake. I'd say at this point it's leaning that way. Are you going to continue to try to prioritize winning now? And for Fox, they went and got Levine instead of, in my opinion, a better package that could have set up their future more because they wanted to keep trying to win this season. If you tried to trade Sabonis, you're going to probably have to add bad salary. Would you be willing to add really, really bad salary and do a tear down and get some, just to add better future assets? Or what's the priorities of this organization moving forward, and could they shift into a patient rebuild, or is that just untenable considering the lack of success and the thirst for success? And that's those are obviously existential questions, and it's hard to even know the answers because again, we don't know who's necessarily going to be in charge.
Yeah, and Anthony, just to follow up on that, this year Domas at $40.5 million, next year $43.6, then $46.7. And 27, 28, 49.9, and then he would be an unrestricted free agent at age 32. So, yeah.
See, as good as he is, that's not the most appealing contract on the market because of the length of it, and obviously how much money it is. So that's difficult. That's a lot of money into the future.
Slates, let me follow up on something that you just said. We have Monty McNair here in the front office. We know Wes Wilcox has exit stage left and taking a job in college. What's your ears to the streets? What are they telling you? Is Monty secure in what's going to happen? Is there maybe something that they have to, I guess, take a look at in the off season? What's your thoughts on Monty's future here?
The sense when talking, to people around the league this year was that there was a feeling that the playoffs were very important for the Kings, right? And the people making decisions for the Kings, and certainly, for the head coach and I think the panic that how poorly the beginning of the season went is what led to obviously Mike Brown getting fired. And I think the sense was like part of the motives of that move is just because the people in charge knew if they didn't make the playoffs this year, like their jobs could potentially be on the line. And there's still theoretically a path for the Kings to make the playoffs and salvage this thing. But, a potential, full reset, I think is definitely on the table if the Kings just flame out here in the next week or two. And that would put into question Monty McNair's future. We'll see. Again, I don't know. There's certainly nothing to report on that end, we see what's been happening with the franchise.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you, Anthony. We appreciate it. Enjoy the Warriors and the Lakers. We'll talk to you soon.
No, all right. Talk to y'all later.
Yeah, Anthony Slater from The Athletic. When we come back, we'll look at what the Kings need to learn from those rampaging Giants next with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
As seen on Crazy Rich Asians, Silicon Valley, and more, it's Jimmy O Yang, Big and Tall Tour.
She was like, babe, what's your love language? I'm like, what? A love language could be words of affirmation. I was raised by Asian parents. Their love language is verbal abuse.
Saturday, April 12th, the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss them, Sacramento. Jimmy O Yang, Big and Tall Tour.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy Kyle Draper. I still remember the first car I ever owned. It was sweet. It was cherry red, but it didn't quite run the way that I wanted. It would make a funny sound like something like that when I was driving, and eventually I had to get rid of it. But I'll tell you what, I wish I knew the fine people at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton back then. Their service department is first class, and they accept most extended warranties no matter where you purchase your vehicle. Their service department, those technicians out there, they're super experienced, more than 224 years. Plus, they treat you fairly. The price is fair. They treat you like your family. So schedule your service today at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. It's just a short drive right off I-5, or of course, you can go online anytime at mbfstockton.com to schedule your service today and tell them Drape sent you.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
49ers are on the clock. Don't miss Sacktown sports coverage of the upcoming draft. Brought to you by Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge. No one covers pro football like Sacktown sports, and there's no place better to enjoy it than with over 80 screens at Twin Peaks. And their ice-chilled 29-degree drafts at the 5 p.m. happy hour kickoff.
Sacktown Sports.
Yeah, we'll come back around to the Kings talk, of course. It never ends here in Sacktown Sports. But I'm wondering, Jay, have you been watching much, if any, baseball yet?
A little bit.
But you haven't been out to the yard yet, have you?
No. You know those. I don't make the Whitey Gleason salary, so I haven't figured I'll go out there yet. I'm not important enough to slide.
A lot of empty seats out there. I'm not sure you'd have to pay what you think you'd have to pay.
You might be spot on with that.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. You're probably right.
I bring this up because I know you're not a big fan of theirs, and nor am I. But the Giants are freaking 5-1.
They are. Oh, yeah. You know how it is. Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Well, they've won 2 road series, and they just swept the Astros. Yesterday, I was on with Alan, and I said, "Oh, the Giants are off to a 4-2 start." They were 4-1, and somebody got really angry with me in the text line, which I get. You know, fans are gonna fan.
I told you get it right.
But it looks like, and it's too early to draw any conclusions, of course. 6 freaking games. But it looks like maybe as an organization, they're kind of back on track. You got Buster Posey now running things. And, you know, Buster comes from the old school Giants culture. They won 3 World Series. And it just looks like everybody kind of is on the same page, which is where the Kings need to be. And right now, I mean, they're not even in the same library. Right? It's just, that's the way it looks.
Right.
Sometimes that happens, and you know, you got to bring it all together. But it's such a contrast here. You know, with Farhan, there had been a Gabe Kapler, the manager, and they had that one great year where they won 107 games, but then the young prospects are not coming along. What are they doing at the deadline? And now it looks like all of a sudden, again, it's too early to draw conclusions, but 6 games in as they get ready for the home opener, the Giants look like, whoop. I mean, just you listen to the things the players are saying. Like Roop, who pitched yesterday, is like, oh, yeah, in case you didn't know, we're a really good team now. They feel it. They're talking that way because they have that sense of purpose, and that's really what the Kings desperately need. They need to learn from that. They may also need to learn from the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls, who had Levine and DeRozan for years, 3 years, and their first year they started out great, and then they kind of faded, and then since then they've had a lot of injuries. And they haven't done well. And the Bulls finally decided, you know what? We're getting off the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
We don't want to be stuck in the middle. And it looks like the Kings have been a team that for years is they haven't said it, but it looks like the philosophy has been, we'd love to be in the middle because we've been down at the bottom so long.
Right.
And now it looks like they run the risk of being stuck in the middle where you're not good enough to win anything and you're not bad enough to get the really good players that you need to win anything.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me answer your Giants question.
Uh-huh.
Because that ain't nothing but some extraordinary play there from them. You know, they're getting lucky. Little Giants.
5-1. Good for 3rd in the National League West right now.
Yeah, because your boys are hot. And, of course, the Dodgers are almighty.
Dodgers are 8-0.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even though they got a couple easy wins over across the pond, too. You got to give them that, too.
Yeah.
But the Giants, they'll come back to earth. Don't worry about that. Don't let these Giants fans fool you. It's because Brendan was sitting in front of your face rocking a Giants hat.
There's no way around it. They're off to a good start. That's all I said.
5-6 games?
That's a good
that
start.
Ain't no good start. Talk to me. We're talking about 162.
They've only played. All you can do is win the games you play, and they've won
that
5
ain't no
of them.
good start, man. I refuse to give the Giants fans or Giants any type of love.
That's a dangerous tactic for somebody who says he's a fan of the A's, who are 2-5. Right?
Well, I just keep it real with myself. The fact of the matter is Giants fans continuously fool themselves every year as if they got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
No, Oakland A's, we understand. When it's our 4-year span, we got a shot. After that, the next 4 years, we're in a rebuild situation. Giants fans feel like, they can get every free agent that they possibly want, yet get none. And then second part of it is they feel like they can compete with the Dodgers, and they don't. So, I mean, would you rather know what you're going to get, or would you rather be consistently every single year just heart ripped out of your chest.
That doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
Every year getting your heart ripped out.
No,
Yeah.
but that's what Giant fans do.
Here's some I was thinking about with the attendance at the A's games, and I know some, there are a lot of people that are watching this and saying, "Oh, I hope Sacramento fails miserably. Oh, look at the attendance; it's down. Oh, look at this; it's a minor league ballpark, and it looks terrible." I'm in a way, I think it's great that A's fans or Sacramento fans have not been selling out these games. They had a sellout crowd first night, then they had 10 something, then they had 9 something. Yeah. Because I could be totally wrong on this, but I feel like the Athletics and MLB, they thought, you know what? These fans in Sacramento, they've never had a major league team. They're not going to know the difference. This is not a major league ballpark, but they don't know. It's going to be Major League Baseball, and they're gonna pay through the nose to come watch these games. Well, we're not a bunch of hayseeds. I mean, no. we haven't had a team, but we've spent a lot of time at Giants games and A's games. We know what Major League Baseball is. And I understand everybody's making the best that they can out of the situation, but a big part of a major league experience is the major league facility. And if you're going to charge me major league prices to watch a team in a minor league facility, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
No, it's a nice experience. And I'm going out there Monday and Tuesday. And for anyone who goes out there and has a good time, great.
Yeah.
But I think, it's not like we were just going to blindly just, here you go, baseball, and they take all our money. Thank you. Oh, thank you for playing Major League Baseball in our little podunk town. We're smarter than that, Jay.
Of course we're sharper than that, baby. This Sacramento. We're the city of trees. You know what time this is.
Sacramento.
We don't mess around. But no, I think, baseball has definitely tried to pull the wool over certain folks' eyes, and it just don't happen here in Sacramento when it comes to the fans, the patrons, the people who are spending their money. Now, they may have, pulled the wool over some people's eyes here in Sacramento, and we'll figure that out as, time comes, as time is warranted. If the wool has been pulled over certain people's eyes at the moment, I think, and I was just telling this to Ramsey, one of the things for me is I'm still caught in a relationship of what has happened with the A's. Mm-hmm. And as much as it's like this, the person who I am in a relationship with has stayed the same, but we went from a mansion to a duplex, so to say. And though the duplex is new and maybe it's in a better neighborhood, or whatever, it's shinier, it's newer, it was built later on, where versus the mansion, it might be a little older, a little stained, probably need a little paint. The relationship is still the same. Mm-hmm. And for me, I've always said, and we've had this conversation, being from Sacramento, loving the A's, growing up being an A's fan, not a Giants fan, it's tough because I root for my squad, but man, I'm burnt out because of the relationship I'm in.
Yeah.
And I need a reset from the relationship between me and not the squad, but John Fisher, the ownership group. And so just what you said is it sounds great on the surface because I want to support my squad. I want to rep my flag. I want to throw that A's up. Yeah. Ricky Henderson Day, opening night, children were there, celebration. But when it's really all said and done, it's tough for me to spend my own money. It's tough for me. And this is the other thing. I value my time. I got stuff to do, right? I'm a husband and I'm a father. I got things to do. It's tough for me to go out and consistently be slapped in my mouth like Giants fans every year who believe they're going to win a championship by this ownership group. And so I'm still staying, man. And I know, people could jump in 916-339-1140 and say, Jay, pull it together, figure it out. I'm not opposed to that, but I am in my feelings in the form of I've given all my time, effort, and money to what's going on. And that relationship we ain't had a conversation. We ain't went to therapy. We ain't figured this out yet.
Right.
And so as much as I want to slide to the ballpark, as much as I want to cheer on the squad, as much as I want to rep the A's,
you don't want to be taken advantage of.
There was.
And you don't want to be a
100%.
partner in your being taken advantage of.
Man, you hit the nail on the head big time.
Yeah. More on the A's.
What'd you go to school for again?
I didn't need to. I should have just started teaching, right? I should have started teaching instead of going to school. Brother. Yeah. Kings have already learned speaking of school, a difficult but valuable lesson. Next with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Visit SacktownSports.com and join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their tools, but to protect their professional reputations. Whether it's inside or outside of work vehicles, a WeatherGuard badge means pros can trust that their hard-earned name is in good hands. Since 1968 and every day since, WeatherGuard has been protecting anything it takes to build a professional reputation. WeatherGuard, established in 1968, proven every day. WeatherGuard.com.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
Hey, what's up, Sacramento? It's Kyle Draper. Turn up the cleanliness at your restaurant, healthcare, or industrial business with Alsco Uniforms, the official sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. We've got you covered with crisp uniforms, hygienically clean linens, floor mats, and of course, mops delivered weekly. But that's not all. Alsco Uniforms also offers weekly services for first aid and restroom supplies. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Just go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's ALSCO.com.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, for the A's to have any chance of contending this year, it will start with starting pitching. And besides the tough outing by Joey Estes in the home opener, and looking back at the Seattle series and led by offseason acquisitions Luis Severino and Jeffrey Springs, the A's starters went 23 2/3 innings. They allowed just 14 hits and 3 earned runs. Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business with reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solution, and Wi-Fi backup. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. For details on special offers, including free professional installation and up to a $500 Visa prepaid card on qualifying internet bundles, log on to business.comcast.com. Comcast Business, powering possibility.
Get ready, NorCal. The Lodi Beer Fest and State Barbecue Championship is on Saturday, April 26th at the Lodi Grape Festival grounds. There will be something for everyone. Craft beers from over 50 breweries, live music, outrageous food, games, plus taste barbecue from world-class barbecue teams. For tickets and more information, go to grapefestival.com. Must be 21 years of age or older to attend. The Lodi Beer Fest, where great brews meet legendary cues. Saturday, April 26th in Lodi.
Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys.
Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Now, we've got room for fans of all teams here, but it sounds like, Jay, as a Giants fan or two, are Giants fans coming after you?
Come on, bring
it.
Bring that 5-1 championship you guys are celebrating all of a sudden. 5-1, man.
Someone
still third place in the division.
From the 209, Jay, we got more rings than you, Buster Posey era.
It must have been within the last 15 years. He can't be talking about overall all time. Check them stats, young fella. 209. Terrible championships.
1989 World Series on the phone.
You already know, man. We just drop kicked them boys. They beat the Tigers. The win in the 2012. The Tigers.
That was one of the most surprising things I've ever seen. Yeah. I'll never forget Pablo Sandoval hitting those home runs off Verlander, and the look on Verlander's face is like,
come on,
what?
this guy.
You got to be kidding me.
Seriously, though. Look at this. Posey's a beast. Hall of Famer. No doubt. That was a year one MVP, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Brandon Bilt. And there's no disrespect to these guys, but I'm just, do these sound like championship guys? Crawford is okay. He's a beloved Giant. I got to give him his love. Defensively,
had the good chucking, Jay.
Defensively, he's a solid cat. Pablo Sandoval, Melky Cabrera, Angel Pagan, Hunter Pence, who hit 219. 219.
Mm-hmm.
Even got an MVP vote. Who the hell was voting for him? And you hit 219.
Wasn't that the year where Melky won the batting title but relinquished it because he got popped?
Yeah.
And so they gave it to
346.
Buster? Yeah.
Yeah, Buster hit 336.
Yeah.
So again, no disrespect to Buster, MVP, but he kind of got given that. He was given that MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, man.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story about Buster. I'll never forgot this. 2011.
Gregor Blanco.
Yeah. Oh, he made that great
King
catch.
Arias.
He made that great catch of Matt Cain's.
Shouts out to Scooter. I'll never
game.
disrespect Oakland. Ain't like that.
Yeah. Buster Posey, of course, 2010, he comes out and he's a sensation and they win the World Series. 2011, he suffers that terrible injury, tore up his knee. And then 2012, he's back at spring training. And a reporter, I'm at spring training at his locker in like the first or second day of spring training. And somebody asked him about, is it tough coming back? A lot of uncertainty here as you're coming back. And he went off on this guy. He's like, hey, I almost lost my leg. You know how hard that is?
Yeah.
He really was offended. And the guy didn't mean it at all, but it came out kind of insensitive. And Buster do you know how badly I hurt my knee? He went off on the guy.
As he should.
Yeah.
I mean, as I say, you wasn't in the gym shooting with me. You wasn't in the bullpen catching the curve with me. So I definitely understand. Not kid. First of all, let me say this. Nothing disrespectful to these ball players because they made it to the league. But, this is just friendly. No, this ain't friendly. This is true hate. This is true A's Frisco Giant hate, man. I got no love for the Giants. I'm telling you, you talking about some of the luckiest teams. Shamrock in the back pocket, rabbit foot in the catcher's bag. Buster must have carried a rabbit foot.
Who was the infielder for the Braves that they
Brooks Conrad.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. The Giants should have given him a ring.
Yeah, from the Braves.
Yeah.
Right through the wickets.
Anyway.
Catch a ground ball, a GB, baby. On a perfectly manicured field.
Jay, you may not like it. I may not like it, but the Giants are off to a really good start.
No, I'm not giving you that. 5-1 ain't no starting
played
baseball.
6 games and won 5.
That's one series.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing but a series.
They've done really well in the first 6 games of the year.
Well, they beat the Reds
They
and
swept them. They beat the Reds, swept the Astros.
Yeah, man, that's the Astros
they beat
probably
the big red machine.
Yeah, who knows? Who cares?
And they swept Nolan Ryan and Mike Scott in the Astros.
They wish.
Yeah.
Where do the honestly, where do the Giants finish this year?
Who knows in baseball anymore? I think they'll have a winning record. I don't know how good they'll be.
Where you going with it?
They're in a tough division.
Yeah.
I think
Dodgers are going to run away with this one.
Looks like
so
it.
You'll already be competing for a wild card spot.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Padres
look good.
Padres off to a good start. Long ways to go.
See, that's a good start right there. 7-0. That's a great start. Great start. 5-1. It's a series, an extended series. Cincinnati.
Okay.
And it ain't like they buckling down on folks, man. They giving up all kind of runs left and right. 6-4. You squeaked that out. Lost the 3-2 barn burner.
Yeah, got some clutch hits so far. Some big time home runs. They got that look early. Giants fans know what I'm talking about. They got that look.
What look is that?
The look that good Giants teams have.
Which is what?
Which is
average
never
team.
out of it.
Never out of it.
Never out of it.
And they'll be out of it by
Wilmer.
What's today? April 3rd?
Now you're almost talking me into defending the Giants.
Well, that's your fault.
Huh.
You can get on the same bandwagon I'm on.
They're playing well so far.
They ain't playing with, man. They just got out of spring training.
Okay.
Exhibition game.
Are the Dodgers off to a good start?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Hey, no. I mean, they ain't lost the game.
You know, they're the only World Series defending champ to start the next year 8 now.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Giants fans, man. Go ahead and drink that. Drink that Kool-Aid right now.
Krukade. That's not Kool-Aid. That's Krukade. Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah.
Kruk and Kipe are, man, they're gems to the game. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, as much as, I've never been a Giants fan. You can't disrespect legends.
Mm-hmm.
As much as if we were in the same, let me say this, if we were in the same room, I would go shot for shot with them boys.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they be drinking from that tin cup too. Paper cup, not even styrofoam. Cup just disintegrates. Just disintegrates in your hand. That type of Kool-Aid y'all be drinking, Giants fans.
Jay,
you got the nerve enough to talk about the Buster Posey era.
Well, he's back. That's the whole thing. Buster's back.
You dudes was searching for free agents the last decade. You try to talk about the Buster Posey era.
Home.
So in 4 months, it's a Buster Posey era?
Yeah. That's what Giants fans will tell you.
But see, that's what
the
Giants
record suggests. They may be right.
Front runners. That's what it is. And they drink from the pot. They literally drink from the pot. Go ahead, Whitey. My bad.
No, that's all right. At least we're kind of clear on how you feel about that. Yeah. Not a big Giants fan. The Kings, in my opinion, have learned a valuable lesson already. It was another painful loss, of course, last night. There's no sugarcoating that or, the silver lining. No, dreadful. Anthony Slater's comments were, they were rather stark, weren't they? It's like, yeah, I mean, that's a sign that your team is kind of giving up on the season.
Yeah.
A loss like that. I know that weeks ago, a lot of people were suggesting the Kings probably should tank. Maybe those people were right. I didn't think the Kings should do that. And now it's to the point where, I mean, you probably couldn't tank your way out of a plan right now if you wanted. So be that as it may, though, one of my counters to that was, look, you have to play these games and try to win them to see what you have and see if things fit, because you're going to have to make decisions in the offseason based on how your team plays down the stretch, on your coach, on the core of your roster. So I think that's one thing, in my opinion, that the Kings have learned, and it's a painful but valuable lesson. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, it didn't work in Chicago. It's really, really not working here. Whose fault is that? It doesn't matter. It's your fault if you just continue to try to make it work. That's the bottom line. We had this from Lyle Murray today in The Athletic. All Kings lineups, this was going into last night, so it doesn't take into account last night. All Kings lineups with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine sharing the floor have been outscored by 58 points this season. All Kings lineups going into last night. I don't know what it was last night. All Kings lineups with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine sharing the floor have been outscored by 58 points this season. And Sacramento is now, including last night, 10-16 in games in which they both play. So I'm not trying to start that narrative of he's a ball stopper. What's wrong with him? It's just, if you're the Kings and you're making decisions based on what you've seen so far, in my opinion, you should know, that doesn't work for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's not something we can bank on next year. Dang. And I think that's important to know.
Saying the proof has already been there for you.
It is to me.
Yeah. No need to keep trying to experiment.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's one of the frustrating things, right now. You're pretty much locked. You got 6 games left. What are you going to do? You can't make a trade or anything.
Yeah, no. I guess you continue to experiment at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. It is something that I think a lot of people who are naysayers of the West Coast Bulls, as they like to call them, they've said it. The experiment has already been tried. Why try it again?
Yes.
But of course, sometimes we are hard-headed as people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely understand it as much as I'll be the first one to say. I mean, look, I'm a Kings fan. I'm an A's fan. I'm hard-headed. I haven't seen a lot of success, but there is hope. Springs are eternal 9 times out of 10. But I'm with you. I think the West Coast Bulls may have seen a second version of that. And as we move forward, I'm not sure how long they're going to stick with it. Maybe the experiment was just this season. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
We'll know soon enough when we come back. There is, this is from Phantom. Phantom texted me this.
Oh, Phantom texting you?
Yeah, there is a playoff path for the Kings that is not unreasonable. A playoff path.
Text you that couldn't pull up to the house and say that?
No, he couldn't. Yeah.
Kenji over and everything.
Drove
Come
right
on,
by
man.
it, too.
That's
He
cold.
drove right by it. Oh, I'll text you. That's next here with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Your old HVAC system could be costing you a fortune in energy bills and repair bills. Right now, Sierra Pacific is offering deep discounts, saving homeowners thousands of dollars. Savings that won't be available later this year. But you must act fast. We have to fill openings in our schedule next week. This limited time offer is only available if you book your installation for next week. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Sierra Pacific and lock in your savings today.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Here you go. We're finding some common ground from the 209. Love you, Jay. I've been a Giants fan since I was a little kid back when prime time was on the Giants.
Oh, no doubt. 1995.
Yeah.
Shouts out to the 209. I kid, man. You know, little sports hate. They're not supposed to like me. I'm not supposed to like them when it comes to baseball.
Yeah.
But no, prime definitely on the Giants.
He was good.
Always had live.
Baseball
Oh, yeah. He was
player.
definitely a baseball player. And if he would have, singularly played baseball, he probably would have been a lot better. But I mean, anytime you make it to the big league, more times than not, you can ball. Somebody, who was that from the 209? The A's have one more World Series than the Giants. Well, guess what that means? It means we have one more.
Yeah.
That means we have more than your Buster Posey era, which is what they said. Buster Posey era, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. By the way,
Riley Fingers era. How about that?
There you go. There is no such thing as an even year dynasty. If it's broken up, it's not a dynasty. Giants fans, we have that even year dynasty.
Yeah. Well, they hope they wishing on a star.
Dynasty would be like if you won like in 72 and 73 and 74. 3 years in a row.
Who said that one more time?
Well, I'm just in theory.
Oh, okay.
Giants
just
fan.
yeah.
3 World Series in 5 years. It's an even year dynasty. No, that's not actually a thing. A dynasty has to be unbroken to be a dynasty. Like, say, for example, if you won in 1972, 1973, and 1974.
That's called the Riley Fingers era.
That would be a dynasty.
Vita Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing about Giants fans, and this is the toughest part, is prior to the run that they had.
Big savings are back.
10, 12, 14, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
They had nothing. They were literally leaning on nothing. And that was great times to be an A's fan because you didn't have to hear nothing. And then Brooks Conrad can't catch a ground ball. And then all of a sudden it snowballs. It snowballs.
Yeah.
They were living on, who was that? Jose Cruz, who dropped the ball in 0-1 against the Angels. They got beat by the rally monkey.
Well, Jose Cruz Jr. dropped a fly ball in the playoffs against the Marlins.
Was the
That might have
Marlins?
been the year after they lost the World Series.
Who's the one that dropped? Someone dropped the ball against the Angels too?
I don't know, but that was Scott Spiezio.
Scott Spiezio.
Yeah, remember Dusty, and I talked to Dusty about this, when he came out to take Russ Ortiz out of the game and he gave him the ball?
Yes.
Because it's like, you just won the World Series.
Right.
Derek takes this with you. And the Angels went ballistic and won that game and then won game
How you
7.
lose to a rally monkey?
Yeah.
A stuffed animal.
Yeah. So anyway, it's if the A's do leave, it'll be very sad because it was so cool. As anyone knows, to have National League and American League.
Yeah, yeah. And it was
so awesome.
It was, as much as I'll say this, as an A's fan, well, let me take a step back. As a Giants fan, you would have to say that the Dodgers is your number one rival. No doubt about it. I'm not going to argue there.
Yep.
But coming in at a soft number 2, it's probably the A's. As much as Giants fans may want to say something different, I would have to say the A's. It's interesting.
Giants fans would never admit that.
Of course not.
Giants fans would never
say that. And that's what's wrong with them. That's what's wrong with them. As I said, they drink from the pot. They stir the pot and they drink from it. And every single year they come up, minus those little wimpy 3 years. They're always upset. But for the A's, is it the Giants? Is the Giants their number one rival?
It's either them or the Yankees, and it probably is the Giants.
Right.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time thinking about that. I'm with you. And I'll just say this. One of the things I admire about you, Jay, is you would never, ever wear one of those split caps, where it's half A's, half Giants. I'm a fan of both teams. No. You're a bad person. I may have overstated that, but still, take a stand. Split caps, Giants playing the A's. I like both teams. No, that's
colors don't even match.
That's not acceptable.
No, absolutely.
You're not allowed to do that.
Nah, come on now. That's I'm a Raider Niner. Nah, that's not it.
Right.
Yeah, you got to pick and choose one of the other two. That's not. Come on. I got no love for a Giants fan. I definitely ain't got no love if you're trying to politic and be an A's fan, and then all of a sudden you want to go to that overrated ballpark that they call one of the best, and then all of a sudden cheer the Giants on. I ain't got that for you.
Jay, that's a really nice ballpark.
No, it's not. It's overrated.
Maybe it's a little overrated, but it's a really nice ballpark.
You know what that ballpark is like? That ballpark is like it's held to a high standard, high esteem, right? But when you really get in there, you're like, man, it's freezing. Gotta have a fur coat on just to feel comfortable over there. The garlic fries, the stench of the garlic fries knock your nose hairs out.
Look, Jay, as your friend,
come on, man! I can't even get a good bowl of clam chowder in the stadium. I gotta go down to the pier or something.
A's fans can't take shots at the Giant Stadium.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Why they don't tell me what to do against the Giants?
You're asking for trouble.
I ain't trying to hear the Giants fans, man. You got, first of all, to go to any Giants game, you got to have six layers on. Well, that's uncomfortable. Who wants to do that?
How's that different from Oakland? Or you just taking
what you mean? Beautiful sun in Oakland. I mean, people come out in t-shirts.
Okay.
Yeah, stop playing, man.
Yeah.
Then you go you got to deal with the traffic. Can't park nowhere. Jump on the T train. I mean, you got to pay $99 just to park somewhere. Then you got to park all the way in the TL somewhere. Like, come on, man.
And you're just
overrated ballpark. Ballpark overrated.
You're just taking Bart into the Coliseum, huh?
Yeah, jump right off.
You think will the A's ever go back to the Coliseum?
Ooh, that's a good question.
There's a lot of people. It's all speculation, but Joe Lacob's going to buy the team.
Yeah.
They're going to redo the whole Coliseum. And I think
you got to knock it down, though.
AEG group that currently owns the Coliseum. I think they would love to do something like that.
You know what would be interesting, and I think you proposed this, and maybe we were reacting to a story or two. If they make the playoffs, it's there. Like you can't have the playoffs at Sutter.
Baseball already said that they didn't know if they could do that.
Right.
And they were being very positive about everything. So, yeah, they can't get enough people in there. They probably, based on what MLB has already said, if the A's made the postseason, which might be tough given, what we saw in the Cubs series, but if they did, games probably would not be held in Sacramento.
Yeah. So where you sending them to? Better not be that old freezing ass ballpark, the Oracle. Ballpark is cold as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time I go to that ballpark, I catch the flu.
But you go to an A's game?
Oh, perfect. What are you talking about? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Flip flops. I don't even wear flip flops. Shower shoes. You know what I mean?
What do you make of this from the Phantom? This is about the Kings. Do the Kings have a playoff shot? He sent me this yesterday before last night.
Okay.
So he says, Kings finished 9, take out the Mavs in the first game, advance to play the loser of 7 versus 8 game, which is the reeling Memphis Grizzlies.
Ooh.
Sure, it's a road game, but you can't get a much better opponent than a team which has lost 4 straight, 8-10, and fell from number 2 to number 8 in like 3 weeks and fired their coach. I'm telling you, there's a chance, says the Phantom, a chance for the Kings legitimately to get into the playoffs. How about it?
Sound good.
You don't sound impressed.
Nah, because, we lost to the Wizards now. You should return message and ask, how does that feel? But I think that's, as fans, we're all looking at that situation. We've all kind of looked at that and said, man, they could literally sneak into the playoffs because, as Bobby Marks said, prior to Dallas winning the game, Dallas, Phoenix, and the Kings have lost 9 straight altogether combined. And so Memphis, the Kings have played Memphis very well.
Memphis sliding all the way down now to 8.
Just fired their coach.
Yeah, lost 4 in a row there. They're just falling apart. They're unraveling. They're going to lose the 7-8 game.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Kings, all you got to do is beat a Memphis team that doesn't know up from down right now.
You might not even have to play Ja Morant.
Yeah.
You're right. It sounds on paper looks fantastic, and
Kings
I think
are in.
That's why the King. Well, you go ahead and call it how you want to. Are you saying that right now?
Yes.
Okay. You and Phantom are saying that. Drive guy. The Rise guys are calling it now. Yeah.
OG Rise guys.
Stand on it.
Yeah. I don't even know if I can say that because some other company actually.
My owns that? Oh, my apologies.
No, it's okay.
Oh,
I don't know that. But now that you say it, I don't and. They didn't create it, so actually I may have a case there. If I
you did anyway, that. Yeah.
That was.
We might have to have a conversation about
Justin
that.
Came up with that.
Yeah,
but anyway, as bleak as it looks today, Kings fan, I'm telling you, Kings fans and Kings fan, Phantom in his infinite wisdom, he's from the 707, points out, there is a way, and it's really not a stretch. Now it looks like it today because the Kings were humiliated last night, but don't give up on it yet. If that's what you want. Again, a lot of Kings fans I know, they're like, I don't want to make the playoffs. I want to end up keeping that pick. But if you want the Kings to be in the playoffs again for only, the 11th time in Sacramento history, there is a way, Jay. There is a way.
I think when you're looking at it, if you hold both of your hands out, the left hand is probably telling you draft pick, and this team is not going anywhere. If they do make it to the playoffs, they probably get smoked by OKC. Do you just want to have fun and see maybe a 5-6 game series? Maybe you get swept in 4. Like the Dodgers fan put the broom in our boss man's office. Shouts out to that Dodger fan, by the way. And then you look at the right hand and you're like, you know what? This team could have a possible, and this was prior to, last night and the last couple of nights, they could have a home playing game, which, the atmosphere would be crazy at the G1.
Yes.
And then you play, as you said, a reeling maybe Memphis team who you've had success against this year, albeit not against Ja Morant in 2 of those games. And then you have an opportunity, if nothing else, if we started, and we talked about this, Whitey, but looking at the beginning of the season, the whole goal was to get to the playoffs. They still have that opportunity. Mm-hmm. If they got to the playoffs, even if it was an 8th seed, and we take out the play-in games prior to the play-in game system, they made it to the 8th seed. Would Kings fans be excited?
You'd have 2.
Come on, man.
Minimum of 2 home playoff games.
Dang.
Yes.
Atmosphere going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
See a bunch of these Giants fans, they don't know when to accept the loss. I see.
Troy Perry, you're just being insanely foolish now, Jay, and you know it. Also, man up. A real man doesn't even get cold.
Says a Giants fan who's definitely out there in a hoodie, gloves, warmers, drinking coffee, and eating them strong-ass garlic fries.
When we come back, somebody asking, hey, are the Kings tanking or not? And we'll look at, speaking of the A's, A's attendance so far. Is it a bad look for Sacramento? We'll examine that when we return to Sacktown Sports.
Get ready, NorCal. The Lodi Beer Fest and State Barbecue Championship is on Saturday, April 26th at the Lodi Grape Festival grounds. There will be something for everyone. Craft beers from over 50 breweries, live music, outrageous food, games, plus taste barbecue from world-class barbecue teams. For tickets and more information, go to grapefestival.com. Must be 21 years of age or older to attend. The Lodi Beer Fest, where great brews meet legendary cues. Saturday, April 26th in Lodi.
I confess I like to show people photos of our grandson, Kenji. I just showed Jay one yesterday, Kenji, with the wiffle ball in his hand for his first birthday. Also like to show people photos and video of our new garage door from National Garage Door. There's a service you get from National Garage Door. Service is their number one priority, and that's why they've been around, locally owned and operated since 1974. I wouldn't trade our new garage door from National Garage Door for any other door. Installation, removal of the old janky door, the OJD, was done very quickly and efficiently, which is the opposite of how the old door was working. It was not efficient. It was not quiet. Our new door, quality Rainer brand garage door, it's great. Looks great. Whisper quiet. And a huge upgrade from our old door in functionality and appearance. Now, maybe you don't need a new garage door. National Garage Door is a place to call, 916-638-4554, whether you need a door replacement or repair. Or maybe you're not sure what's wrong with your garage door. They are the region's BSE broken spring experts. Why would you call anybody else? National Garage Door, ready to solve your garage door problem, whatever it is. A new garage door is a great, easy way to upgrade your home roster, whatever your garage door needs. Replacement, repair, emergency service, or we're not sure what's wrong with it. You need National Garage Door, 916-638-4554. That's 916-638-4554, National Garage Door.
Get in on the action at Sky River Casino. With over 80 table games, the hottest slot machines, and a thrilling high-limit room, you'll enjoy a casino experience on a whole new level. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Have you ever dreamed of shopping for the perfect jewelry from home? Well, now it's possible, and you can even build your credit. PrestigiaJewelers.com now offers online shopping, making us the premium credit jeweler nationwide. With an exceptional selection of fine jewelry, from engagement rings and gold chains to sparkling diamond earrings and much more. With over 30 years of experience, Prestigio guarantees you'll find exactly what you're looking for. It's fast and easy. Once approved, you'll receive a guaranteed credit line from $400 to $10,000. All you need is to be 18 years or older, have a valid form of ID, be employed for a minimum of 6 months, and a bank account for automatic payments. PrestigiaJewelers.com is the perfect way to establish or reestablish your credit, with interest rates at only 2.25% per month. We are here to help you with monthly reporting to all major credit bureaus. The perfect jewelry, the perfect price, helping you build perfect credit. Visit us online at PrestigiaJewelers.com or at one of our locations in Sacramento, Stockton, Merced, and Fresno. Enter code SACTOWNSPORTS at checkout to save 10%.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Jay with a little Fleetwood Mac, huh? It's a Drive Guys. This is from the Tango in the Night album, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh, look at you. I'm not even going to fact check it. I'm going to believe you.
Here's a question before we get to the phones here. Question from AC. Sacktown Sports, answer this question. Are we tanking or not? If you mean currently, are the Kings tanking? They're not intentionally tanking. the way teams tank, and if you say, well, they are tanking, they're not playing hard. The way teams tank when they tank is they sit their best players. Like you look at the Jazz and like Lauri Markkanen, he's out tonight. Why? Well, we don't know.
Out for the rest of the season. They said he's ill.
Yeah. So that's when you know a team is tanking. Their best players don't play very often because they have, right heel possible contusion, things like that. So the Kings are not tanking. And again, you could argue that they should. I don't. You could make that case, but they're not. We also have Russell, who heard what I was saying about the Kings, there's a path to playoffs. He says, why would you even want to make the playoffs? Just end it already. So
I think that's what the team is kind of saying. I mean, if you gauge them by the play, is, hey, let's check these dates off the calendar.
Yeah. Let's see. He says, I would literally rather not be in. I get that. I would. I think it'd be more fun. I would like more games.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen this year. It's unlikely, but it's possible the Kings do decide this offseason, we're going to tear it down. And which would mean we wouldn't have anything close to a postseason game for a long time. So let's have some now if we can.
Right. Especially when we haven't been blessed with that many opportunities anyway, especially some of the younger fans. Well, you could say all of them, but some of the younger fans, early 20s, good luck. They haven't seen anything. So definitely, I just always am from the crowd of saying, if you have an opportunity to, as you say, keep playing and be in the playoffs, I'd rather be in the playoffs. Definitely.
Yeah. And this might be,
some of these guys must be Giants fans too.
This might be the end of this Beam Team era. Maybe not, but it might be. And it'd be nice, even though, this era, if it is ending now, it's not ending anywhere near where we hoped it would, but it would be nice if this is the bookend, like, wow, back in the playoffs, it would be something. That's how I feel. If you disagree, there's room for both sides.
Absolutely.
But that's definitely how I feel, and that's what I'm pulling for.
Yeah, there's someone was a Rancho Mike said, Whitey, did your brother not see what happened last night? But you did say, to his credit, this was prior to.
He said that to me yesterday afternoon. We had the short show yesterday, so I couldn't get it in.
The Bub Carrington, AJ Johnson led Washington Wizards.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. JR, I'm sure JR saw it all last night. How are you, JR?
A's or no, he's an A's fan, right?
Hold on here. JR. Hold on. We're having nice conversations, making fun of the Kings, and then you got to go poke the friggin' bear with the Giants? Ask Whitey, Jay. Where was I born, Whitey?
I know, you're a candlestick.
Those right field temporary bleachers.
I was just trying to see if I could catch him off guard.
And his diaper was a hot dog wrapper flapping in the wind.
Yes. Yeah. That is right.
So you almost caught the flu then. You almost had pneumonia out there.
Oh, it was freezing. There is nothing colder than a day in October in friggin' Candlestick Park. But hey, let's get serious here. There's only one team in MLB history that's won 3 championships in the last 15 years. So do that math, Jay. Right. And here's another thing. We were just fine in the 89s when we had Mitchell and Clark. We were all good, and yes.
Dave Rigetti was on that team.
The earthquake happened. If it wasn't for the earthquakes, they sweep the A's. Let's all be serious.
Hold on. When the earthquake came, it was 2-0 Oakland. How are you going to sweep?
That's where we wanted them. We had a run. That's how Will Clark plays ball. He says, hey, Nolan, throw me a pitch. I'll hit it out my first time at bat.
Yes, that's true.
You really want to go down this road, Jay, with us diehard Giants fans?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, see, this is the thing. You guys have recent memory bias.
That is true.
Prior to 2010, I couldn't even catch a Giants fan unless they were in the under a heater.
Hold on here. Warrior fans have selective memory. They forget they won championships in '76.
That's true.
Greatest freaking team ever. So that is true. But don't poke the bear with Giants fans. We bleed red and orange. We were supposed to move out the
red and orange. See what I'm saying? You're so anemic from the frostbite.
I know. I'm a part Niner fan, so I did screw it there. Not red. Sorry, black and orange. That is true. Well, it is. Hey, if the playoffs started today, the Giants would be in.
Yeah,
that's true.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm really reaching for stroke. But hey,
It's all love, JR. You know that, man.
I was born and raised in San Francisco. I eat a hard pretzel sold by some guy named Whitey Gleason during the '86 Super Bowl. Oh yeah. And I had to deal with Phantom and Vallejo, all those elements.
Have you given up on this Kings season, or are you still hoping for something positive out of it?
I agree with you guys. You play to win the game. Who knows what's going to come around next year? You play to try to get in. Is the way the world is right now, the human race might not be around this time next year. So just play and let us get a couple games. I do want that home game. I mean, they got to be ninth. They got to be ninth. They got to figure out a way. But they played so lame last night.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they were horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily Phantom said what he said before that, because I was going to say he was in the bath drinking some tequila or something. Oh God, they got to win a few here. It has been a hard season because the expectations are so high for us.
Yeah, and now
it's been painful.
Right, I don't know about you. Right now, my expectations are just like big question mark. I just don't know.
I think we all watched that game, like you were saying. You're watching and thinking, even when they're down, they'll come back and win this because the losers want to lose.
Yeah.
And they still did it. And I went, oh, my God, I don't have enough booze in the cabinet to deal with this the last 5 games. I love you guys. See ya.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Real quick here, we talk about the A's, the Giants. Jay, the A's attendance last 3 days, first 3 days of Major League Baseball at Sutter Health Park, 12,119.
Right.
Chilly night, bad weather. 10,095. And then yesterday, 9,342. Is that a bad look for Sacramento?
No, not at all. Because, I mean, I think, this is the A's being here still kind of bringing up some old vibes for A's fans like myself. And that's why I talked about it a couple segments ago. Sacramento, as a fan club, as fans, we don't need to prove anything.
Amen to that.
And I think
thank you for saying that.
That conversation can be blurred a little bit, but Sacramento fans, Kings fans, sports fans, and just the patrons of Sacramento, the city of trees, there's nothing to have to prove here. We're some of the greatest people walking earth when it comes to our sports organization. Yeah. So that is to the left. Now you're going to have some people who, as I said, who are A's fans, who live in the Bay Area, who are afar, who live in Vegas. There's always going to be some negative folks. They're always going to try to pick and poke the, as JR said, poke the bear.
I will say this. I've noticed more this week on social media, more of those real pro Oakland fans saying, look, we don't have anything against Sacramento.
Okay. Good.
Which is nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Shouts out to them, because it's a bigger situation. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. As A's fans, if you really take a step back and see, and take your emotions and your feelings out of it, yeah, we're all crushed that they're not playing in Oakland. That's why I grew up going to baseball games under good weather.
Yeah.
Now compared to here,
sometimes
great weather, I should say. My bad. You're right. Not good weather, great weather. But now you look at the standpoint of, again, that relationship is just so scarred, and we haven't sat on the couch. We haven't had that conversation and figured out how we move forward as A's fans, and everything has just happened so quickly. And then on top of that, if you are in Sacramento and an A's fan and or a baseball fan, you also are kind of in the middle of it too, because you want to go see. I want to go see number one, my favorite team play in my city. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But I'm definitely torn because I know guess who's capitalizing off of it.
Yeah. Well, I know baseball can say, well, Sacramento, this is a chance for them to prove they deserve a team. And I'm with you. We don't have to prove anything to you. If you don't want to put a team here, fine. It's like, dance, monkey, dance. We're not dancing. We're not your monkey. We're not dancing for you, no baseball. Puppeteer. Yeah, and you have to give us a major league product if you expect us to pay major league prices. And I think it's, fans are going to show up and show out, but we're not going to sell out every game because we're not like suckers. We don't owe you anything.
No,
right?
And rarely does baseball games. See, one thing about baseball, there's so many games, there's day games, there's getaway game. Some of the times people just at work. You heard what JR say, society is a cold game right now. Folks got to get their coins up. So you got to go to work. Half the time, a lot of these jobs now are being cut to the point of, no, you have to come to the office. Remote is not available at this point. It's not an option. And so I got to come in. I'm going to miss that 12:35.
Yeah.
Everybody ain't blessed to be, Whitey Gleason.
Well, we got the Padres coming in, the Mets coming in next weekend. So we'll see what the numbers are.
I might come out there for the Pods, man.
Yeah.
I'm torn. 1 hour, I'm like, I ain't going to that. Next hour, I'm like, yeah, I might slip out there. Then to come tomorrow, nah, I ain't going to that.
Got night game Monday, night game Tuesday, day game Wednesday. We'll see you out there. Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz is next on Sacktown Sports.
Hey, everybody. Kyle Draper here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. You know, sometimes you just don't want to buy brand new. I get it. I understand. Sometimes you just want to try something out. Maybe go for a lease. Well, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the place for you. They have great lease offers starting at $297 a month. That's right, $297 a month. You know, for over 30 years, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has been there for the community. Whether you're buying, whether you're leasing, they're the ones you can trust. So head on down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton right now and check out their fleet of leased vehicles. They have certified pre-owned vehicles as well, starting at just 3.49% on select models from 2021, 22, and 23. So head on down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Tell them your boy Drape sent you, and trust me, they'll take care of you. They're a partner you can trust. Or you can always go online at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com.
Whitey here, reminding you that not all grills are created equal. When buying a new grill, every detail matters. For March, grab a $149 gift with purchase of every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill, including a pizza lover starter kit and much more. More March savings include up to $79 off Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium stainless steel that boasts quality. See how Napoleon will help you achieve the perfect grilling experience. Visit Green Acres Nursery today with your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Spring is here, and that means gigantic savings for all your oil change needs at Jiffy Lube today. Get a $25 gift card with the purchase of any Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change through May 31st at your local Jiffy Lube service center in the greater Sacramento areas. And don't forget about the additional $30 off online coupon at jiffylube.com. Terms apply. Valid email address required. See pennzoil.com/rewards for details. Jiffy Lube, huge spring savings for you today.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, for the A's to have any chance of contending this year, it will start with starting pitching. And besides the tough outing by Joey Estes in the home opener, and looking back at the Seattle series and led by offseason acquisitions Luis Severino and Jeffrey Springs, the A's starters went 23 2/3 innings. They allowed just 14 hits and 3 earned runs. Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business with reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solution, and Wi-Fi backup. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. For details on special offers, including free professional installation and up to a $500 Visa prepaid card on qualifying internet bundles, log on to business.comcast.com. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Spring is in the air, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping for new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Always great to hear from the great Tony Ray Harvey. In the chateau, he says, enjoyed all 27 innings. Thanks to the A's for the opportunity to see MLB games in Sacramento region. He also says there were 9,000 Cubs fans in Sutter Health Park on Wednesday.
Tone is a Cub.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. He's from the Illinois
Chi-Town representative.
Area. That's right.
I know he wouldn't be. See, but Tone keeps it a buck. Tone was, if he had to choose between the A's and the Giants, I just know Tone would be an A's fan. Just know it. I can see it in his pupils.
I guess maybe if he's a Cubs fan, he's not a Giants fan. Why isn't he a White Sox fan?
I think because of where he is from in Chi-Town.
Yeah,
I believe
he's not a South Sider.
No,
he's a
I don't
North
think so.
Sider.
I don't know. I'm not even sure he's a North Sider. He might be from the West Side.
Okay,
that's
all
probably a question we can ask him.
Mm-hmm. I want to mention Russell once again. Russell with an interesting point here on the Kings. He says the fans' main issue are the Kings watching this team play basketball. It isn't fun. It's painful, and it sure was last night, wasn't it? It's been this week. It has not been as much fun as it's supposed to be. I'm still hoping they find a way to make it more enjoyable. We'll know more tomorrow night.
Yeah, it is, and that's a great point. Russ brings out a great point. It definitely is becoming non-enjoyable for this team, and every single night when you take the L's and the way they find different ways, as much as it looks the same, it feel like they find different ways to lose.
Yeah. They don't look like they're having a lot of fun themselves either.
No, not at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but everybody has more fun than Giants fans.
Yeah. Well, this is always fun. Time for Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz for April the 3rd.
And you know what, real quick, Whitey? Yeah. I know Tone wouldn't be a Giants fan. He would be an A's fan because he left Chicago to come to Sacramento to get away from the cold anyway. Same type of cold, same type of atmosphere at the Oracle Ballpark.
But Oracle's
got to shovel
much
snow.
nicer than Candlestick, isn't it? They have the wind baffles and everything.
Yeah, that's what they tell you.
Yeah.
Don't be fooled.
Ramsey is actually our defending champion,
Is
having
he?
won a truncated version of the game
Let's
that
go
you. I think you filed a formal protest.
No
I don't
problem.
know. I lost it. But anyway, Ramsey's up first. He's the champ. Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz for
man.
April 3rd, brought to you by Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. So, Ramsey, here's what you got to choose from today. We have this date, what year in MLB? We have 1987. We have 1989, 1991, 2002, and 2019.
You know what happened in 1989?
What's
A's beat the Giants.
They did.
Go ahead, Whitey.
Yeah. Were you at that World Series?
I was at one.
Okay. I was
Young
at all.
lad.
Yeah. I was at all of them, including the Shaker.
We might have been in the same vicinity.
Yeah, maybe so. Ramsey, this day, what year? MLB, 1987, 1989, 1991, 2002, 2019. Where do you want to go?
Let's go 1991 first.
1991. Multiple choice for you. Bo Jackson signs with the White Sox. He also played for the Royals, of course, and he spent one season, Bo Jackson did, with what other MLB team?
Angels.
Angels is right. He's
Come
got
on,
it.
man.
Didn't
You're
need
giving
the
these
multiple
soft,
choice.
easy lollipop questions.
Champ is on the board. Yeah. 1-0.
Gary DiSarcina.
That's right.
I don't know about
Fine
Gary.
angel
Yeah,
infielder.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was no
Rex Hutler. Ooh.
What's this little shortstop?
David
David
Eckstein.
Eckstein.
David Eckstein,
Yeah, went
yeah.
to the Cardinals
Yeah.
and won a championship.
He used to go to the library to use the internet.
He did. I remember that story.
Yes. All right, Jay. You're up here. This day, what year in MLB? 87?
Troy Salmons.
89? No, Tim Salmons.
Tim Salmons.
Yeah.
Troy Gloss.
Troy Glaus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Third baseman, right?
Yeah. 2002, 2019. 89, 02, 2019, 87. This date, what year in MLB?
1989.
1989.
Dave Henderson.
It is the closest, too.
All right. I'll let Ramsey go first.
Ramsey. This date, 1989, Ken Griffey Jr. doubles off Dave Stewart in his first major league at-bat. Jr. is not a member of the 3,000 hit club, ending his career with how many hits? Ken Griffey Jr. got his first one this day, 1989, ended his fabulous career with how many hits, Ramsey?
I'll go 2,452.
Nah, he's way closer to 3,000. So I'll just go 2,500. He's like 2,900-ish.
2,781. Yeah.
I'm like 2,800, 29.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jay, and he probably could have hung on long enough to get it if he wanted. I don't know. Jay has the point. Time
Those
to game.
Reg years hurt him.
1-1.
Injured quite a bit.
Yeah. Ramsey, back to you. 1987, 2002, 2019.
Let's go 2002.
Also this day, what year in MLB?
Let's go 2002.
2002. It's another multiple choice.
Geronimo Baroa.
This outstanding athletic, but he was no John Jaha.
Yes, sir.
Remember they would play Crazy Train Ozzy for his intro song. And I think it's because it started with Ozzy going, ah, ha, ha, ha. And I think that was Jaha. All right, Ramsey. In the second game of the season, Giants beat the Dodgers 12-0 with Barry Bonds hitting 2 home runs for the second day in a row. How many players, including Bonds, have hit 2 home runs on the first and second days of the season? 1, 2, or 5?
You said including Barry Bonds?
Including Barry Bonds. How many players have done that? 2 home runs on the first day, 2 home runs on the second day of the season. How many players have done that, including Barry Bonds? 1, 2, or 5?
I'm going to go.
I'm not hearing anything about how easy this question is. Interesting. Oh, you always ask them the easy ones.
Yeah, that was tough.
I'll go 5.
5 is not correct. Jay, your chance to steal. Barry Bonds, 2002, this date, hitting 2 home runs for the second day in a row. How many players, including Bonds, have hit 2 home runs on the first and second days of the season? 1 or 2?
Gosh. I'll go with 2.
Eddie Matthews was the other. And you
Eddie Matthews. That's diving
in
deep.
1958.
That's diving deep right there.
Yeah. Jay takes the lead. 2-1, and you're up, Jay. 87 and 2019. And this date, what year in MLB on the board?
This date, what year MLB?
All right. This date, what year? The A's trade 3 prospects to the Cubs for a pitcher that might be washed up by the name of Dennis Eckersley. This date, what year?
Ooh.
You have the option. You can have him go first, or you can go first on it. This date, what year?
I think I know it. I'm going to let Ramsey go first.
Ramsey? This date, what year? The A's trade 3 prospects to the Cubs for a... This guy's way past his prime. Dennis Eckersley, who, of course, would go on to make baseball history.
I'm going to say 19.
You're right so far.
I want to 1983.
1983, Jay?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going 19. Oh, that's a very good guess because I was at from the Cubs.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, his rookie year. I'm looking at his baseball card. Shouts out to Emory.
Need an answer, Jay.
I'm gonna go 84.
1987.
Yeah.
1987.
I will say 85 was the word I was talking about.
Yeah. And clock, we only have about 20 seconds left, so I think, Jay, we have to declare you the winner by a 3-1 margin.
A short version of
yeah.
it again. Huh?
Congratulations. Well played, Ramsey. Well played, Jay. How about that? With all your talk of the A's, and you win it on a Dennis Eckersley traded to the A's question.
Well, that's what happens when you're A's fan. You come out victorious, unlike that other team that posturing in the bay.
5-1 team.
Man, come on.
Yeah, we're
talk to me tomorrow.
All right, I will. Will you be here tomorrow?
No, talk to me Tuesday.
All right, we've got a short show tomorrow, but I'm going to do an hour of Alan's show. So, join me tomorrow at what would that be? 1
o'clock.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Stick around. Golf to Go is next on Sacktown Sports.